Chapter 1306. Following this, they waited for a while, but no more geniuses appeared. Others prepared to try and see if they could enter Emperor Path College. Seeing those powerful geniuses walk into Emperor Path College so easily, they had thought that it would be quite simple. However, only after walking into the range of the dragon's might did they realize how terrifying it was. Countless people stepped in and felt as if the sky had collapsed. Their minds went blank, and their bodies crumpled to the ground, unable to move at all. So terrifying. Seeing a large number of people fall, those who had not entered the range of the dragons might cried out in shock. They felt quite afraid and did not dare to continue. Some people thought about it and exploded out with their full power. They walked in and felt a massive might weighing down on their bodies. They gritted their teeth and walked forwards with great difficulty, their bodies covered with beads of sweat. However, even though some people fell, some people still successfully entered Emperor Path College. This gave many people confidence, and they also entered the range of the dragon's might. However, most people failed, and only a small portion of people passed. Zhao Fu also walked towards Emperor Path College, and the young man next to him laughed as he said, "Don't tell me you want to enter Emperor Path College as well? I'd advise you not to make things difficult for yourself. I'm sure you don't even know what Emperor Path College is. Let me introduce you, so don't go looking for trouble." The young man did not have any ill intentions and just wanted to give him a reminder. Zhao Fu looked at Emperor Path College's entrance and lightly laughed as he replied, "No need." Zhao Fu walked towards Emperor Path College, and the young man wanted to try to persuade Zhao Fu, but the middle-aged man next to him cut him off. "Don't try to persuade him. Perhaps that person will be able to enter Emperor Path College. Don't you feel that he's not simple?" These words caused the young man to feel quite startled. Zhao Fu was not simple. Looking at Zhao Fu's back, the young man still did not believe it, as he felt that it was impossible for Zhao Fu to enter Emperor Path College. After walking a few steps, Zhao Fu was pushed back and forth by people, and there was an impenetrable wall of people in front of him. Seeing how weak Zhao Fu was, the young man couldn't help but loudly laugh. Boom! Suddenly, an unimaginably massive might press down on everyone's bodies like a massive hand. Everyone's souls trembled, and they felt as if they had fallen into a bottomless abyss. Boundless darkness flowed over, and some people's legs became weak as they knelt to the ground. The young man's smile froze, and the middle-aged man was also quite shocked. Everyone else looked at Zhao Fu in shock. Zhao Fu could not help but explode out with his power and did not hide it at all. Everyone within 1,000 meters of Zhao Fu collapsed to the ground, and only Zhao Fu remained standing. The young man looked quite shocked. He had never thought that the person who he would have such terrifying power. Even though he had Zhao Chun, he could not help but felt that. This might not only cause the expressions of the people in the surroundings to fall, but even the guards' expressions became serious. They felt an immense sense of danger, making them feel as if they were suffocating. Now, no one dared to block in front of Zhao Fu, and they respectfully made way for him. This might not only caused everyone's expressions to fall, but even the guards' expressions became serious. Zhao Fu arrived in front of the dragon's might, and looking at the might that the golden dragon gave off, he stepped in. Roar! Roar! Terrified dragon roars sounded out as the dragons sensed Zhao Fu's aura and curled up within their dragon pillars, looking like small snakes. None of them dared to give off any might towards Zhao Fu, and they looked at Zhao Fu as if he was their master. It was not just the people watching, but even the Zhao dynasty's guards looked incredibly shocked. This was something that had never happened before. No matter how powerful or terrifying a person was, the golden dragon had never felt so much fear before. This was the first time something like this had happened in Emperor Path College. In actuality, the golden dragon's might was not just this. After all, the golden dragon had not released its full power. If it released its full power, even a higher being would not be able to defend against it. However, the golden dragon was indeed afraid. It was not because of Zhao Fu's power, but because Zhao Fu was definitely not the most powerful person in Emperor Path College. It was because Zhao Fu's aura caused the golden dragon to instinctively fear him. Who was this person in front of him? How could there be such terrifying power and such shocking abilities? Zhao Fu sighed. He did not want to cause such a commotion. He ignored everyone's gazes and walked to the Emperor Path College's entrance. At that moment, the Zhao dynasty's guard could not help but ask, "Sir, where are you from? May I ask where you are from?" Zhao Fu calmly replied, "I'm just an unremarkable minor figure." Of course, the Zhao dynasty's guards did not believe him. How could such a terrifying figure be an ordinary minor figure? As such, they hurriedly reported this to the higher-ups. At first, the higher-ups did not pay too much attention and thought that it was just a slightly more powerful or special person. However, that person's appearance caused even the golden dragon to feel fear, causing them to feel quite shocked. After all, Emperor Path College's golden dragon was not an ordinary golden dragon. It was something that had fused with the gatekeeping formation. If it released its power, even a higher being could be killed. It could be said that even if a higher being descended, the golden dragon would not be able to cause golden dragons to feel fear unless it was something that could suppress their bloodline and dragon soul. That sort of thing was incredibly rare and almost impossible to obtain. Even the most noble dragon species in the dragon race would not be able to cause golden dragons to feel fear. Just how had that cloaked figure done it? This matter even shocked Emperor Path College's higher beings. After hearing about it, they could not help but want to meet Zhao Fu and see just what sort of existence Zhao Fu was. However, another higher being had appeared and quelled this matter, making it seem as if nothing had happened. The Zhao dynasty's guards had received orders not to spread this matter, and those who disobeyed would be severely punished. Of course, the Zhao dynasty's guards understood how terrifying this matter was, so they would not say anything about it, even if they were beaten to death. However, with so many people at the gates, news about Zhao Fu quickly spread, causing a small commotion. Of course, Zhao Fu did not know about any of this. After entering Emperor Path College, Zhao Fu felt as if he had entered a different world, and it was completely different from what he remembered. What entered Zhao Fu's eyes was a green grassland with many unknown flowers. The sky was very blue, and there was a light breeze, creating a beautiful scene. There were also stone and brick paths on the grass that led to different places. There were also mighty and domineering statues of soldiers that were 10 meters tall on the sides of the paths. Every path had a stele that indicated where each path led to, and there was only one path that led to the new students. Zhao Fu tried to enter another path, but he was repelled by restrictions. It seemed that there was only one path he could choose. Chapter 1307. This was most likely where the ordinary people of the college lived. Zhao Fu looked around and found that it was not much different from the outside, except that everyone's auras were much more powerful than the ordinary people outside. Zhao Fu saw that there were many people gathered in front of a tall stone stele, so he walked over and found that there were over 1,000 people's names recorded on it. After hearing from the people around him, Zhao Fu understood that this was the Emperor Path College's rankings. The person in first place was called Emperor Junwang, and he was the legatee of one of the most powerful empires, the human race empire. He had a peak sovereign bloodline, and his strength surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm. The person in second place was called Tailing Jun. He was a disciple of one of the most powerful sects, the Heavenly Path sect. Even though his bloodline was not a sovereign bloodline, he had a great Tao constitution and was no weaker than a peak sovereign bloodline. His strength also surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm. The person in third place was called Jian Yue, and she was the Sword Sect's young master. She was Jian Liuyue's older sister and had an extreme sword body. Her cultivation had surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm, and she had been ranked third in the previous rankings. Zhao Fu looked at these people's names in shock. These were all experts who had surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm and could sweep through anything in the inner domains. No one in the outer domains could stop them. The stone stele was split into 3 rankings: the Heaven rankings, Earth rankings, and Mortal rankings. The Heaven rankings that Zhao Fu had looked at before were for the oldest students of Emperor Path College. The Earth rankings were for the middle, and the mortal rankings were for the new students. These were most likely the most powerful people in the human domain's younger generation. They were true geniuses who had transcended mortality and entered holiness. They were existences that billions of creatures looked up to, and behind each of them stood a massive faction. Zhao Fu understood that the Emperor Path College did not have any restrictions on accepting students. No matter what race or faction one was from, as long as one passed the test, one could become a student of Emperor Path College. For some reason, the various large factions were willing to send their most outstanding people to Emperor Path College. It was said that there was a secret to celestial ascension here. With Zhao Fu's current strength, he was naturally not a match for these people. The difference in strength was simply too great, and Zhao Fu understood that he was inferior. Little brother, you're quite interesting. You're quite interesting. You're actually a projection, which is quite rare. A handsome young man in white smiled as he put his hand on Zhao Fu's shoulder. Zhao Fu frowned and turned to look at the young man beside him because he did not recognize him at all. The other party's actions were a little too enthusiastic. Moreover, this young man's strength was not weak at all and far surpassed Zhao Fu's. He was already a world realm expert, and such a powerful person would not come to chat with him for no reason. He definitely had a purpose, and Zhao Fu could not help but feel wary. Without answering the white-robed youth's question, Zhao Fu removed his hand and walked to the side. The young man was stunned for a moment before he chuckled and said, "Little brother, my name is Feng Qiyun, and I don't have any ill intentions. I just find you interesting and want to get to know you. Also, you're here to visit Emperor Path College, right? I'm familiar with this place and can lead the way." "What? He's Feng Qiyun? He's ranked 7th on the Earth board." The people around the stone stele cried out, and countless people's gazes gathered on Feng Qiyun's body. They had never thought that they would personally meet an expert on the Earth board so soon. However, Zhao Fu's expression became serious. He had never thought that he would attract such a person's attention right after entering. Zhao Fu wanted to keep a low profile and not attract too much attention, so he refused and said, "No need. I'll just walk around by myself." "Wah, who's this person? Even an Earth board expert is taking the initiative to lead the way for him, and he dares to refuse? Does he want to die?" That's right. He offended such a person right after entering Emperor Path College. He can forget about staying in Emperor Path College in the future. He's not giving him any face at all. If it was me, I want to kill that boy. The surroundings were sent into an uproar. After Feng Qiyun announced his name, everyone looked at Feng Qiyun with worshipful gazes. They all felt incredibly honored to be able to meet such an expert, and they all felt that Zhao Fu was too arrogant and overestimated himself. Today, I'll teach you a lesson in Senior Brother Feng's place. An azure-clothed young man gave off a massive aura as he rushed out from the side and raised his hand to attack Zhao Fu. An azure-colored aura flowed out, turning into a massive azure-colored tiger that ferociously leapt at Zhao Fu. Feng Qiyun wanted to stop him, but it was too late. Zhao Fu did not move at all, and a massive black aura flooded out, forming a savage and domineering black dragon that rushed towards the azure tiger. The two beasts clashed, and in just an instant, the azure tiger was shattered into countless traces of azure aura, while the black dragon continued to rush towards the young man. The young man's expression fell, and an azure-colored defensive barrier appeared around his body. Boom! The black dragon gave off a massive aura as it slammed into the azure energy barrier, causing a wild gale to spread out. The azure energy barrier shattered, and the young man was sent flying. Because Zhao Fu had held back, the young man was not injured. However, the young man was not willing to give up and stood up, wanting to attack again. Feng Qiyun hurriedly called out to the young man, and his expression became serious as he looked at the black aura that flowed out from Zhao Fu's body. The black aura automatically condensed into a dragon form. Only the powerful dragon race could do such a thing. Zhao Fu's aura was quite complicated, and Feng Qiyun could not tell what race he was. However, in Feng Qiyun's eyes, Zhao Fu was filled with mysteriousness. "Thank you for holding back." Feng Qian lightly smiled as he cupped his hands. He understood that Zhao Fu had held back, or else the young man would have been injured. Zhao Fu calmly nodded and did not plan on staying, and he turned and walked away. The people in the surroundings felt quite shocked because they found that Zhao Fu was quite powerful. That young man was a student of Emperpath College, and yet he had lost so easily. It seemed that he was not simple at all. Ha ha! Feng Qian, you're quite patient. If it was me, I would have long since taught that boy a lesson. What a disgrace to the Earth rankings. That boy only has stage 9 cultivation. A well-built, red-faced, big man loudly laughed as he walked out. Feng Qian slightly frowned. The big man's arrival made the situation much more complicated, and he did not get along with the big man. Zhao Fu ignored the big man's words and walked to the side. The big man's expression became cold, and a world realm might blasted toward Zhao Fu, saying, "Boy, didn't you hear what your lordship said? Even though you didn't offend your lordship doesn't like you. Kneel and apologize to your lordship." If it was before, Zhao Fu would not have been able to withstand the world realm might at all. However, Zhao Fu now had a divine bloodline, greatly reducing the might. Moreover, the big man had underestimated Zhao Fu and did not use his full strength. Chapter 1308. The big man looked quite surprised because an ordinary stage 9 cultivator would have collapsed to the ground under his might and looked at him in terror. How could Zhao Fu be so relaxed? Zhao Fu slowly turned and revealed a pair of terrifying eyes. His left eye had 7 pupils and his right eye had 6 overlapping pupils. There were also 6 gray dots, making him look like a world-destroying beast. He looked at the big man with a trace of fury, causing his hairs to stand on end, and he instinctively felt a trace of fear. This caused the big man's expression to fall, and he could not believe that a person with stage 9 cultivation could give him such a dangerous feeling. However, in the next moment, the big man felt furious. This was the first time he had felt threatened by such a low-level cultivator. This was a great humiliation, and his gaze became cold and contained a trace of killing intent as he glared at Zhao Fu and said, "Didn't you hear me when I told you to kneel?" Boom! Heaven and earth power quickly gathered as the big man exploded out with the power of a world realm expert. A might containing heaven and earth power blasted towards Zhao Fu, causing the surroundings to become incredibly heavy and filled with a cold and austere aura. Zhao Fu's body once again sank as he sensed this terrifying might. His legs became weak and his waist gradually bent as cold sweat covered his body. After all, Zhao Fu only had stage 9 cultivation, and even though he had a divine bloodline, he could not withstand the might of a world realm expert. Seeing Zhao Fu like this, the big man gave a trace of a pleased smile and said, "Fudge! A stage 9 cultivator dares to act so arrogantly in front of a world realm expert? He's simply seeking death." Everyone in the surroundings inwardly shook their heads. There was no suspense in the battle between a world realm expert and a stage 9 cultivator. It was a complete suppression. Some people felt that Zhao Fu should give in and kneel down to apologize. That way, he would be able to keep his life, or else the consequences would be dire. Some people also felt that Zhao Fu deserved it for daring to speak to Feng Qian like that and not giving him any face. Feng Qian was a world realm expert, but he had not made a fuss about it. However, this person was simply too arrogant. A weakling should act like a weakling. He should be humble and pitiful, begging for mercy. This person had brought all of this upon himself. As for the young man who had attacked Zhao Fu, he smiled and let out a sigh of relief. He felt that Zhao Fu deserved to be taught a good lesson and let him know the immensity of the heavens and earth. Feng Qian frowned. Even though he felt that Zhao Fu was not simple, the difference between a stage 9 cultivation and the world realm was too great. So he said, "Xiongyi, enough, don't go too far." The big man completely ignored him and did not give Feng Qian any face. After all, he was the imperial prince of an empire and was ranked 8th on the Earth rankings. He was only slightly weaker than Feng Qian, so he could directly oppose Feng Qian and not give him any face. Seeing that Xiongyi ignored him and raised his chin, revealing a condescending expression, a trace of anger appeared on Feng Qiyun's face, and he was about to attack. Boom! A massive aura of killing intent spread out, causing the ground to crack and the air to become icy cold. Zhao Fu looked furious and finally exploded out with his nation armament's power. Zhao Fu was no longer afraid of a world realm expert, because Qi now had 3 worlds. The power that his nation armament exploded out with was much more powerful than ordinary world realm experts. After exploding out with his nation armament's power, the massive might around Zhao Fu's body disappeared because it had been cancelled out by his nation armament. Under everyone's shocked gazes, Zhao Fu stretched out his hand and pointed at Xiongyi as he said coldly, "Kneel." Boom! Qin's nation armament, the 12 metal colossi, gathered the massive power of 3 worlds and infused it into Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu pointed out, and a massive might landed on Xiongyi's body, causing his body to sink and his expression to fall. Everyone understood that Zhao Fu was the king of a kingdom, and only the king of a kingdom could use the power of a nation armament. Looking at the power that it gave off, it was at least the power of 3 worlds. Now, the situation was completely reversed. Zhao Fu was the one releasing the might, while Xiongyi was the one enduring it. He gritted his teeth and used all of his strength to resist that might. Even though Xiongyi was an imperial prince, he did not have an emperor's nation armament. In front of Qin's nation armament, he was unable to resist at all. He felt his body sink and was about to kneel. As an imperial prince, how could Xiongyi allow himself to kneel to someone else? Boom! An explosion sounded out as a blue blood-red flame appeared and Boundless Emperor's aura spread out. Xiongyi burned his sovereign bloodline and barely withstood the might. He looked furious as he glared at Zhao Fu and said, "Your lordship is the ferocious Beast Empire's imperial prince. You dare to treat your lordship like this? In the future, your lordship will slaughter your entire kingdom and leave no one alive." Zhao Fu coldly harumphed and once again pointed out with his finger, using a trace of his divine bloodline's power. A divine aura that surpassed that of an emperor flowed out, bringing with it a power that could cause the heavens and earth to cry as it blasted toward Xiongyi. Boom! Xiongyi heavily knelt on the ground, smashing out 2 imprints on the ground. Xiongyi looked quite confused. Under Zhao Fu's power, even his sovereign bloodline felt immense fear, and he did not resist at all as he knelt on the ground. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. That person had actually made an imperial prince kneel in front of him. This was an incredible humiliation, and they would definitely become mortal enemies in the future. No one could endure such humiliation, and he had angered the dignity of an empire. At the same time, they felt incredibly shocked at the power that Zhao Fu had released with that one tap of his finger. In just an instant, their bloodlines had felt immense terror, and they howled in pain. How could that person's bloodline be so terrified? Feng Qian also looked at Zhao Fu in shock, because Zhao Fu's performance far surpassed his expectations. Even with his experience, he was incredibly shocked. The young man next to him had an unsightly expression. Only now did he realize that Zhao Fu had not used much power at all before and had easily defeated him. Now, everyone fell into a deathly silence. Xiongyi looked furious as he glared at Zhao Fu, wanting to cut Zhao Fu into 1,000 pieces. Pa! Zhao Fu casually waved his hand, and a formless slap landed on Xiongyi's face, causing the right side of his face to immediately swell up. Xiongyi furiously roared, wanting to resist Zhao Fu's might, but he was unable to do so. Angry? You brought this upon yourself. I don't want to make trouble, so why are you forcing me? Zhao Fu said coldly as he stared at Xiongyi. Only now did everyone understand why Zhao Fu did not show any weakness when facing a world realm expert. With such a powerful nation armament, he indeed did not need to fear a world realm expert. Chapter 1309. Suddenly, an uproar sounded out from the crowd, as everyone turned and saw a group of extremely beautiful female attendants wearing silver palace dresses walking out. At the center was a cold and noble woman wearing a golden palace dress and giving off a massive might. This woman's beauty could not be described with words, and countless people felt their hearts speed up as their blood quickly flowed. They stared at this woman as if they had fallen deeply in love with her. Her appearance caused the crowd to fall silent, and it was as if the world had stopped. Her aura completely surpassed that of Zhao Fu's because her aura surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm and was definitely on the Heaven rankings. Feng Qiyun and the big man remained silent because the woman gave off a powerful aura, making it so that they couldn't help but lower their heads and submit to her aura. Just like that, amidst the silence, the crowd automatically opened up a path, and the group of female attendants slowly walked by. Facing the countless infatuated gazes, the noble woman looked calm as she walked by. Out of everyone present, only Zhao Fu was not affected by her aura, mainly because of his divine bloodline. However, Zhao Fu also automatically retreated to the side, facing an Emperor Heaven Realm expert. Even if Zhao Fu released his nation armament, he would not be able to resist much, let alone someone who had already surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm. Everyone in the surroundings knew who she was. She was the fourth-ranked Feng Qianghua on the Heaven rankings, the Human Phoenix Empire's young empress. This meant that the next person to inherit the Human Phoenix Empire would be her, which was why she was called the Young Empress. She was also the #1 beauty from the previous imperial rankings, the Young Empress. The Human Phoenix Empire was a terrifying empire that could rival the Human Race Empire. The two of them were in the top 10 empires in the human domain, and other empires feared them. Under this terrifying power, even Zhao Fu could not help but lower his head. Not only was her power countless times greater than Zhao Fu's, but she could also crush Zhao Fu with a single finger. It was as if these people were just passing by and had no intention of interfering. The group of beautiful female attendants slowly walked past Zhao Fu with indifferent expressions, not even glancing at Zhao Fu. Within the group of female attendants, Feng Qianghua coldly walked past Zhao Fu, not putting Zhao Fu in her eyes at all. She was not interested in Zhao Fu at all, and Zhao Fu did not even dare to breathe loudly. Emperor Path College is simply too terrifying. There are all sorts of terrifying people here. It's best to be careful in the future and not be too arrogant, Zhao Fu inwardly warned himself. Roar. A dragon's roar sounded out from Zhao Fu's body. It was the dragon phoenix's roar, and Zhao Fu's body gave off golden light. Zhao Fu's expression fell, and he used all of his strength to suppress the dragon phoenix. However, after walking past Zhao Fu, Feng Qianghua stopped, and her peerlessly beautiful eyes fell on Zhao Fu's body. Sensing that gaze, Zhao Fu felt incredibly nervous, and he did not hesitate to run to the side. However, in the next moment, Zhao Fu's expression froze because a massive power instantly locked down Zhao Fu's body, making it so that Zhao Fu could not move at all. Even his nation armament's power was suppressed, and he could not resist at all. "Why are you running?" A pleasant voice sounded out as Feng Qianghua calmly looked at Zhao Fu with her beautiful eyes. Zhao Fu could not help but feel nervous because she could casually kill him at any moment. He carefully replied, "It's nothing. I just want to leave." "Is that so?" Feng Qianghua asked as she turned and walked toward Zhao Fu. Seeing Feng Qianghua walk over, Zhao Fu felt quite startled and tried to struggle, but he could not break free at all. In the end, he could only sigh. Feng Qianghua came in front of Zhao Fu and pressed her hand against the air. Zhao Fu's body trembled and he lost control of it, and his body gave off a large amount of golden light. Boom! A golden ray of light gave off a massive aura as it shot into the sky. Countless traces of platinum-colored light covered the surroundings as a might descended. This massive figure had the body of a dragon and the head of a phoenix, but it had a pair of phoenix wings and a pair of phoenix claws. It was covered in platinum-colored scales and gave off an extremely noble aura. It really is a dragon phoenix, and it's a dragon phoenix of the highest grade. Feng Xianghua gave a beautiful smile, causing countless people's hearts to tremble. Looking at her, they felt as if their hearts were going to melt. The female attendants all smiled and bowed to Feng Xianghua as they said in unison, "Congratulations, Your Majesty." Now Zhao Fu understood what was going on. It was the dragon phoenix within his body. Zhao Fu's dragon phoenix was of the highest grade, and it was incredibly attractive to kingdoms where women were monarchs. It was enough to cause countless people to fight over it, and the human phoenix empire was one where women reigned supreme. In that empire, it was mostly women who held power, and women were more prestigious than men. There were many women who had multiple wives and concubines, but they were all men. Feng Xianghua stretched out her hand and took off Zhao Fu's cloak. He had an extremely handsome face and a pair of terrifying eyes. He had jet black hair with a few traces of violet, and he gave off an otherworldly and saintly aura that seemed to reign above emperors. He made countless people feel that he was unreachable. This young empress now announces that you are this young empress. Where's your faction? This young empress will immediately deliver the betrothal gifts. Don't worry, this young empress will not mistreat you. Feng Xianghua gave a pleased smile and said words that caused countless people's jaws to drop. However, Zhao Fu was resolute and said, "Apologies. I refuse." He definitely had to refuse. As the emperor of Qin, how could Zhao Fu humiliate himself into becoming a woman's concubine? Moreover, Zhao Fu did not want to serve a woman with so many men, no matter how beautiful the woman was or how many benefits there were. Do you have the right to refuse? Feng Xianghua lightly laughed, her tone containing a trace of condescension and domineeringness. Zhao Fu inwardly cursed. Indeed, he did not have any power to resist. Zhao Fu had never thought that he would be taken away to become a concubine just to take a look at Emperor Path College. It seemed that the wheel of fortune had turned, and Zhao Fu had done this before. Bring him back to this young empress courtyard. Also, send a message to Imperial Mother and tell her this good news, Feng Xianghua said as she gave a faint smile. A few female attendants walked over to Zhao Fu. Now that Zhao Fu could not move at all, they planned to carry him away. Boom! A massive power landed on Zhao Fu's body, and the power binding Zhao Fu instantly disappeared. Even though Zhao Fu did not know what was going on, he grasped this opportunity and activated his nothingness cloak, causing his body to instantly disappear. Your Majesty! The female attendants turned and called out with serious expressions. That wave of power just then definitely belonged to a higher being's power. Chapter 13:10. After Zhao Fu disappeared, he appeared in a crowded market. There were people setting up stalls on both sides of the road, and after asking around, Zhao Fu found out that this was a place for students of Emperor Path College to trade. Ordinary students would sell their gains here. As a student of Emperor Path College, the things they had were naturally not simple, and all of them were incredibly precious. Zhao Fu looked around and found many things that he was quite interested in, such as spirit liquids that could nurture high-grade plants, flight stones that could construct sky cities, and the agriculture god's great blessing that could greatly help agriculture. It was a pity that Zhao Fu was only a projection and not his true body, so he could not bring these things back to Qin City. Moreover, the things here could not be bought with gold coins. As a student of one of the 7 great colleges, who would lack gold coins? The things here could either be bought with items or with Emperor Path College's points. Emperor Path College also had a point system, which was incredibly important in Emperor Path College. Almost everything required points, and without points, it would be incredibly difficult to advance. Come take a look. If anyone can help me open this box, I'll give this agriculture goddess's divine deity to him. Everyone knows that now that the production attribute has disappeared, the agriculture goddess's divine deity can play a huge role. It's definitely a priceless treasure. A shout attracted Zhao Fu's attention, mainly because of the agriculture goddess divinity. With the current situation, the agriculture goddess divinity was incredibly important to any kingdom. Even though his projection could not bring it back, perhaps he would be able to bring such an important item back in the future. so Zhao Fu was quite interested. At the same time, even an ordinary divinity was a top-tier item, and it was said that one could obtain it by opening a box. As such, there were many people gathered there. Zhao Fu went over and saw a person trying to open a box. This box was as big as a fist and seemed to be made of wood. It had 6 sides, and each side had a black image of a ghost. This box gave off a cold and eerie aura, and it was most likely a ghost treasure. Zhao Fu could sense that this box could only be opened by someone with the 6 Paths bloodline. Zhao Fu was not in a hurry to act, because the 6 Paths bloodline almost did not exist in this world. Zhao Fu had only obtained the 6 Paths demon image's blood when he had awakened the Nether Emperor's star and fused it with the 6 Paths demon image's blood. Otherwise, no one would have this bloodline. Now, Zhao Fu was confident that no one present would be able to open it. Zhao Fu was also curious as to how the person who shouted had obtained the box. The person who had shouted was a round fatty with dark skin. He looked quite honest. The first person tried to twist the box and sent his power into it before smashing it with his hand. He tried all sorts of methods to no avail. Another person went up and thought that opening the box most likely had to do with the 6-sided image, and that brute force could not open it. However, after thinking about it for a long time, he still could not figure it out. After trying a few more people, no one was able to open the box, and the fatty felt quite disappointed. It seemed that no one could open it. The people in the surroundings also felt that no one would be able to open it. No matter if they used brute force or techniques, it was useless. Some people even asked the fatty how he had obtained this thing, and the fatty did not hide anything. He said that he had obtained it from an ancient tomb and wanted to open it. Perhaps there would be some wondrous treasures inside. "Let me try." A voice suddenly rang out. Everyone turned their heads and saw a man in a cloak. Currently, not many people here wore cloaks. Most of them were people of status, so they disdained to wear cloaks unless it was necessary to do so. Even though this person looked quite mysterious, wasn't his strength a bit too weak? He only had stage 9 cultivation. How could Emperor Path College have someone with such a low cultivation? Could he really open the box? Everyone did not believe it, but they believed that this person would take the box and run. The fatty held onto a trace of hope and handed the box to Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu took the box and looked at it before sending his 6 Paths power into it. Boom! A massive and cold aura instantly spread out, causing people's hairs to stand on end. Everyone in the market looked quite shocked and looked over at Zhao Fu. The box floated in the air and gave off an intense black light. A terrifying ripple spread out from it, accompanied by an intense might. The people gathered in the surroundings could not help but retreat. The box continuously trembled in the air before blooming like a flower, and a black light shot into the sky. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the sky trembled. A massive and cold aura gathered, and an eerie wind blew. The surrounding temperature quickly fell, and an eerie chill spread out. Zhao Fu felt that the situation was not good. If things continued like this, who knew what would happen? So he hurriedly said to the fatty, "I've opened the box. Hurry and give me the agriculture goddess divinity." The fatty looked at the sky in shock and did not hear Zhao Fu's words at all. Zhao Fu almost wanted to steal it. Suddenly, 6 massive explosions sounded out as 6 massive chi vortexes appeared in the sky, bringing with them an immense might. 6 terrifying figures giving off heaven-toppling ghostly chi slowly appeared in the sky. One had a muscular body and had 3 heads. One had a pair of wings and held a spear. One had an ugly face and a bulging stomach. One wore a long robe and looked like a human. One was an Azura and gave off killing intent. And one looked like a demon and was filled with evil. Zhao Fu felt quite startled and found that this box was used to summon the 6 Paths demon images. Perhaps it could be opened using some sort of secret technique, but Zhao Fu had the 6 Paths bloodline, so he directly opened it. The people in the surroundings all cried out. They had heard of the 6 Paths demon images before, and today most of them had personally seen them. The 6 Paths demon images gave off massive might that covered the surroundings, causing the air to become incredibly heavy and making it difficult for people to breathe. The heaven-toppling ghostly chi caused the heavens and earth to dim, causing the world to become deathly gray. The instant that the six paths demon images appeared, their gazes fell on Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's main body clearly remembered what he had done to the six paths demon images, and he definitely wanted to kill him. As such, when they saw Zhao Fu, it was as if they were looking at an enemy. Their eyes were filled with corporeal killing intent, causing the heavens and earth to become even colder. Hurry! Give me the agriculture goddess divinity. Facing these six terrifying gazes, Zhao Fu did not dare to stay here. He would definitely cause trouble again, so he called out to the fatty. Chapter 13:11. After obtaining the divinity, Zhao Fu immediately turned and ran, and the fatty started to panic. As such, he did not think too much and followed Zhao Fu. Seeing that Zhao Fu was about to run, the six paths demon images raised their weapons and gave off boundless power as they prepared to blast toward Zhao Fu. Xing! A saber hum that seemed to cause the heavens and earth to shatter sounded out, causing the entire sky to tremble. Boundless red light shined out as a massive saber light containing world-shattering power slashed towards the six paths demon images. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the six paths demon images were slashed into countless traces of ghostly chi, which flooded out in all directions before gradually disappearing. A red-clothed elder appeared in the sky and furiously cursed. That bastard is seeking death by summoning the six paths demon images in Emperor Path College. Looking at the red-clothed elder, everyone's hearts tightened. This was the law enforcement department's great elder, and his strength was close to that of a higher being. That was why he could easily deal with the six paths demon images. However, the six paths demon images were only 1,000 meters tall and were not very powerful. If the six paths demon images' true bodies had descended, even tens of thousands of red-clothed elders would not be a match for them. Some people did not hesitate to report, saying, "Great Elder, there's a person wearing a cloak. I don't know what he looks like, but he has a pair of terrifying eyes." He opened a wooden box and summoned the six paths demon images. The red-clothed elder coldly harumphed, "Find that bastard. If he dares to resist, call the law enforcement department. If you do this well, this elder will reward you with 1,000 points." "Thank you, great elder." The people in the surroundings were all delighted. 1,000 points could be exchanged for many good things, so they all chased after Zhao Fu. Luckily, Zhao Fu had run quite quickly from the start, or else he would have been caught by those people. However, now, Zhao Fu hid in an alleyway and did not dare to go out. Because of the terrifying ripples coming from here, many people's gazes were drawn over, including the people who wanted to capture Zhao Fu. Right now, Zhao Fu was not interested in going around at all and just wanted to leave Emperor Path College as soon as possible. He had never thought that he would encounter such a thing, and he could not even keep a low profile in Emperor Path College. Now, Zhao Fu naturally had to change his appearance. He could no longer wear his cloak, so Zhao Fu used his ghostly chi to turn his purple-black hair into gray-white. He also hid his terrifying eyes and put on a mask. However, there was another person beside Zhao Fu, and that was the fatty from before. Zhao Fu was not worried that he would say anything, because he was the mastermind of what happened just now. If Zhao Fu was caught, he would also be severely punished. Zhao Fu had no intention of befriending the fatty, but the fatty was very interested in Zhao Fu. He was mainly curious about how Zhao Fu could open the box. Then, he introduced himself. "Brother, my name is Lin Dapeng. It's an honor to meet you." Zhao Fu's reaction was quite cold, and he nodded before walking onto the street while no one was paying attention, wanting to leave Emperor Path College. However, Lin Dapeng still followed him, causing Zhao Fu to feel quite displeased and call out, "Why are you following me?" Lin Dapeng laughed and said, "I just want to know how you can open that box because I have quite a few of those boxes at home." Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite surprised. However, how could Zhao Fu tell him that he had the six paths bloodline? He only replied, "I don't know either. I just casually tried and opened it. Lin Dapeng evidently did not believe him and clung on to Zhao Fu as he said, "Brother, don't worry. As long as you tell me how to open it, I won't mistreat you." Seeing that Lin Dapeng was clinging on to him, Zhao Fu wanted to find an opportunity to get rid of him. However, a group of women rushed over, causing Zhao Fu to become more well-behaved. Those women wore silver dresses and were Feng Qianghua's female attendants. Even though he did not know how he had escaped last time, if he was caught by them again, he would have no chance of escaping. After the female attendants left, Zhao Fu wanted to leave, but a few more groups of people ferociously rushed over. As such, Zhao Fu once again hid within the crowd, not daring to reveal any of his aura. He understood that these people were coming for him. The people next to him felt quite strange and asked, "What's going on? What are these people trying to do by acting so menacingly?" Another person said in surprise, "Don't you know? Now, news has spread throughout Emperpath College that everyone is looking for a cloaked man with terrifying eyes," Zhao Fu said with a smile. The person asking felt even more confused. Why are there so many people looking for that man? Seeing that he really did not know, the other person explained in detail. When that person entered Emperpath College, he caused a huge commotion, and even the golden dragon pillar at the entrance was incredibly afraid. News of this spread to the Dragonblood Empire, which has good relations with the dragon race, and they want to see that person. The next group is from the Dragonblood Empire. Many people are interested, so they are also looking for him. Moreover, that person is not a student of Emperpath College and is just here to visit. Emperpath College has no right to interfere. The next group is from the Ferocious Beast Empire. I heard that that person made the Ferocious Beast Empire's Imperial Prince, who is ranked 8th on the Earth rankings, kneel in front of everyone and even slapped him. Such humiliation has angered the Ferocious Beast Empire, so they naturally won't let him off. Hearing this, the person asking the question said in disbelief, "No way. That person is so powerful, and Xiongyi is ranked 8th on the Earth rankings. He also has a sovereign bloodline. Could that person really make him kneel?" The person nodded and explained, "That person uses nation armament's power." Hearing this, the person understood and smiled as he said, that Xiongyi was too arrogant and acted in a barbaric and unreasonable manner. It's a pity that I wasn't there. I wanted to see how angry Xiongyi was. That's right. What about some other people? Why are they looking for him? This is especially so when we saw the female attendant of our Emperpath College's #1 beauty looking for him. Hearing this, the person who had asked the question laughed and said, "Some people are looking for him because he released the 6 paths demon images in the trade market. I heard that there are also 1,000 points as a reward." As for the female attendant of our Emperpath College's #1 beauty looking for him, it's because our Emperpath College's #1 beauty, Feng Qianghua, wants that man to be her imperial concubine. Not an ordinary imperial concubine, but an imperial concubine, which is equivalent to an empress. No way. The person who had asked the question was dumbfounded and could not believe this. With Feng Qianghua's personality, she would not even take a liking to the Emperpath College's #1 beauty. So how could she take a liking to a man? It's true. At first, I didn't believe it either, but many people saw it with their own eyes. What's more, it was Feng Qianghua who announced it in front of everyone. I heard that that person has the highest grade dragon phoenix and is the best candidate to be an imperial concubine, another person explained. Chapter 13:12. That's right. That man ran away, which was why Feng Qianghua ordered her female attendants to capture that man. To be honest, that man was so stupid. Feng Qianghua is the #1 beauty in the human domain, and she's already a young empress. In the future, she'll definitely control the human wind empire. Not only is she peerlessly beautiful, but she also has extraordinary talent and wields immense power. Countless people dream of having her, but that man actually refused. It's simply too infuriating, another person said in a sour tone. The person who had asked the question said in a jealous tone, "It's so infuriating. If only I had this opportunity, as long as I could have her, I'd do anything. In fact, I'd even be willing to accept her having other concubines." The other person nodded in agreement. This was all because Feng Xianghua was simply too beautiful, and she was the future legatee of an empire. That empire was one of the strongest in the human domain. Feng Xianghua was the #1 beauty in Emperor Path College, and with her suffocating beauty, countless men and women had fallen madly in love with her. With a single word from her, many people would die for her. However, hearing her personally announce that a man was going to be her imperial concubine, countless people felt as if the world was collapsing, and their hearts felt as if they were being torn apart. "Brother, they seem to be talking about you," Lin Dapeng said in a small voice, looking incredibly shocked as he looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu said resolutely, "No, I'm not. You got the wrong person." Lin Dapeng laughed. "Then I'll yell a few times and see if those people find out who you are." Zhao Fu glared at him and said, "So you want me to silence you?" Lin Dapeng smiled confidently as he said, "Brother, I'm sure you don't want to make a big deal out of this, right? As long as you tell me how to open the box, I can take you out of Emperor Path College. Also, let me remind you that Emperor Path College is very big, so be careful not to get lost." Zhao Fu sighed and found that he indeed did not know where he was. He said somewhat helplessly, "I have that bloodline, which is why I can open that box. That box can only summon the 6 paths demon images." "What kind of bloodline is that?" Lin Dapeng asked curiously. Zhao Fu's right eye, which had turned into a normal human eye, now reverted to his normal eye. The 6 gray dots spun quickly, and the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation spread out like a gray vortex. All the hairs on Lin Dapeng's body stood on end as a huge and cold aura enveloped his body. He felt as if his soul was about to be sucked into Zhao Fu's eyes. "This is the bloodline. It is impossible for you to have it," Zhao Fu said calmly. His right eye returned to that of a normal person. Lin Dapeng, on the other hand, had a look of shock on his face. "That is the 6 das. Samsara. Bloodline?" Zhao Fu snorted, admitting it. Lin Dapeng continued to ask in shock, "Just who are you? How can you have the legendary sovereign bloodline of the Yin world?" Zhao Fu did not reply and said, "Now, fulfill your promise and take me away from Emperor Path College." Lin Dapeng thought about it and nodded as he said, "Come with me then. Also, are you planning on participating in Emperor Path College's examination next year and becoming a student of Emperor Path College?" As Zhao Fu followed Lin Dapeng, he lightly nodded. A smile appeared on Lin Dapeng's face, and his tone became even more courteous as he said, "Brother, please take care of me in the future. Hurry up and take me away from Emperor Path College. I don't want to be captured by those people," Zhao Fu said hurriedly to Lin Dapeng. Only then did Lin Dapeng come back to his senses. Zhao Fu was being chased by a few groups of people, so he nodded and quickly brought Zhao Fu away. However, before they had taken a few steps, they were once again stopped by a flirtatious and peerlessly beautiful woman. It was the 10,000 Desire Palace's Xiang Qianqian. "Good man, do you know how long I've been looking for you?" Xiang Qianqian said with a trace of bitterness in her eyes as she looked at Zhao Fu. Looking at this flirtatious and seductive woman, Lin Dapeng instinctively stared with wide eyes and gulped. Only then did he realize that this was Zhao Fu's woman and immediately retreated to the side. However, Zhao Fu frowned and said to Lin Dapeng, "I don't know this woman. Don't worry about her and take me away." Lin Dapeng felt quite startled and looked at Xiang Qianqian. Xiang Qianqian angrily said, "You heartless man, we clearly confirmed that you wanted me and I wanted you. It took me so much effort to send my husband away to find you." Lin Dapeng felt quite dumbfounded. Why was this flirtatious woman a married woman? Their relationship seemed so complicated. Zhao Fu was expressionless and knew that she was a big problem. He said coldly, "You're mistaken. I'm not interested in you at all." "Is that so?" Xiang Qianqian was quite displeased with Zhao Fu's attitude and leapt into Zhao Fu's embrace. The 6 desires demonic qi within Zhao Fu's body went out of control, causing Zhao Fu to hug Xiang Qianqian and do all sorts of things. Xiang Qianqian tightly stuck to Zhao Fu, looking quite pleased. Sensing a certain part of Zhao Fu's body, she happily panted as she said, All right, scoundrel, I'm not angry. Scoundrel, I'm not angry. Hurry up and fuck me. Seeing such an erotic scene, Lin Dapeng felt quite embarrassed and prepared to leave. Zhao Fu did not know why Xiang Qianqian had attracted him like this. But more accurately speaking, she had attracted the Six Desires demonic art and caused it to go out of control. Zhao Fu bit the tip of his tongue, and the intense pain caused Zhao Fu to wake up, and he prepared to push Xiang Qianqian away. Boom! A massive aura descended as the sky was covered by a golden light. There seemed to be countless phoenixes flying about, and a figure appeared in front of everyone. It was Feng Xianghua. Seeing this scene, Feng Xianghua's peerlessly beautiful face became cold, and she stretched out a finger. At that moment, Zhao Fu pushed Xiang Qianqian away, and a massive force sent Zhao Fu flying back. He crashed to the ground and coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Xiang Qianqian felt incredibly touched, and she thought that Zhao Fu had pushed her away in a moment of danger. You slut! You're so fickle, and yet you dare to betray this young empress and be intimate with another woman? Do you know that you deserve to die 10,000 times? A bone-chilling voice sounded out as Feng Xianghua coldly looked at Zhao Fu. Feng Xianghua was like a man who had seen his wife cheating on someone else. Even though Zhao Fu was not married to her, she had set her sights on Zhao Fu and declared him to be her imperial concubine. Lin Dapeng and Xiang Qianqian's faces became pale because they could sense Feng Xianghua's aura. She was an existence that surpassed the Emperor Heaven realm and could casually kill them. Zhao Fu fell to the ground, feeling furious. He glared at Feng Xianghua and cursed. What's wrong with you, you crazy woman? Who's yours? This imperial concubine has countless beauties. I don't fancy you at all. Trash. Chapter 13:13. Crazy woman. Zhao Fu could not help but loudly curse. However, he could not resist at all, and his nation armament was forcefully suppressed. Feng Xianghua's expression was cold as she walked toward Zhao Fu and said, Despicable man, if it wasn't for the fact that you have the highest grade of dragon and phoenix, this young empress would have already killed you. However, you're extremely useful to this young empress, so this young empress will still make you an imperial concubine. However, you will spend the rest of your life in the cold palace, so that you will not be able to betray this young empress. Now, you can beg this young empress and promise to only belong to this young empress and kill all of your women. Perhaps this young empress will forgive you this time. Scram! Zhao Fu glared as he angrily called out. Feng Xianghua was expressionless, and her eyes were filled with a dense coldness as she said, Looks like you'll have to suffer a bit before submitting to this young empress. Also, you must remember that you belong to this young empress and do not have the right to express your opinion. Boom! Feng Xianghua stretched out a snow-white hand and grabbed at the air, and Zhao Fu was lifted into the air by a formless energy. A massive energy heavily slammed into Zhao Fu's body, causing him to cough up a large mouthful of blood and many of his bones to break. Zhao Fu was instantly heavily injured, and his aura became weak as he powerlessly floated in the air. Feng Xianghua felt slightly better and gave a trace of a smile. She came to Zhao Fu's side and took off Zhao Fu's mask. She lifted up Zhao Fu's chin and looked at Zhao Fu as she said, Do you know your wrongs now? Beg this young empress, and this young empress will dote on you in the future. How could that slut next to you be better than this young empress? Feng Xianghua planned to use force first and then soften, wanting to completely subdue Zhao Fu. However, Zhao Fu coldly looked at her and gritted his teeth as he said, Stop dreaming. I can't be a woman's imperial concubine. In the future, I'll definitely make you submit to me. Hearing this, Feng Xianghua lightly laughed and said condescendingly, Do you know who this young empress is? Even ordinary higher beings would not dare to speak to me like this. Zhao Fu raised his head and said with a trace of arrogance, You're just an imperial concubine. Do you know this young empress's identity? He planned to use his divine bloodline to scare Feng Xianghua. After all, this was a divine bloodline, and it was connected to a holy empire. With a holy empire's might, Even the most powerful empires would have to fear it. Hearing how Zhao Fu called himself Feng Qianhua Feng Zhao Fu, and the great Feng Fu Fu Feng 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 and Fu Zhao Feng and Feng Emperor Feng and Fo. This was the first time that Feng Qianhua had seen someone look down on her peak imperial bloodline, and she felt quite amused. It was like a beggar mocking a rich person for not having money. And with Zhao Fu's identity, how could he have the right to say such a thing? This was the first time that Feng Qianhua had seen someone look down on her peak imperial bloodline, and she felt that it was quite amusing. It was like a beggar mocking a rich person for not having money. With Zhao Fu's identity, how could he have the right to say such a thing? Before holy empires appeared, her bloodline was the most powerful bloodline in the world, and no one could surpass it. Boom! A power that surpassed even that of an emperor flooded out, causing the heavens and earth to fall into terror and continuously tremble. Zhao Fu ignited his divine bloodline and exploded out with the power of a divine bloodline. Feng Xianghua's expression fell as her peak imperial bloodline trembled. This really was the power of a divine bloodline. Thinking about that, Feng Xianghua felt quite shocked and could not help but take a step back. Her face became slightly pale, and this was the first time someone had made her act like this. With her identity, she knew many things about holy empires. Seeing her like this, Zhao Fu naturally understood Feng Qianghua's wariness towards the divine bloodline, so he said in an even more forceful tone, "Now you know this holy son's identity, right? This holy son advises you to let this holy son go, or else the human Phoenix Empire will not leave a single person alive." Feng Qianghua suddenly laughed. How can a holy son only have stage 9 cultivation? Moreover, even if you're a holy son, as long as this young empress takes you back and makes you a concubine, then take you by force, if this young empress becomes pregnant with your child, your holy empress won't be able to do anything to the human Phoenix Empire. Moreover, with this young empress bloodline and status, I'm not much weaker than a holy son. Your holy empress will most likely be very satisfied with this marriage. Right now, this young empress must have you. Before, you only made this young empress interested, and this young empress planned to take you back and nurture our relationship in the future. However, this young empress must have you now. Don't worry, this young empress will dote on you. Ha ha! Feng Xianghua's smile was incredibly beautiful, causing everything in the world to lose its color. Everything was immersed in her smile. However, Zhao Fu angrily glared at Feng Xianghua. He had never thought that using his divine bloodline's power would have the opposite effect. Not only did Feng Xianghua not let him go, but she was even more determined to take him back. Even though Lin Dapeng and Xiang Qianqian were bound by the side, they could still hear, and they looked incredibly shocked. They had never thought that Zhao Fu would have such a powerful background and would have a divine bloodline. Just thinking about this would cause even emperors to feel some fear. All right, beloved concubine, this young empress will take you back immediately. Feng Xianghua smiled as she stretched out her hand toward Zhao Fu. Boom! Another massive wave of power descended, and Feng Xianghua's gaze became serious. This time, she was prepared, and she raised her hand and blasted out a wave of power as well. Bang! The two formless powers clashed in the air, resulting in a massive explosion and a terrifying shockwave. However, it was evident that even though Feng Xianghua was powerful, she was far from being a match for that wave of power. However, that wave of power did not harm Feng Xianghua and only forced her back a few steps. At the same time, Zhao Fu's body regained its freedom, and the restrictive power disappeared. Zhao Fu did not hesitate, and once again used the nothingness cloak to teleport away, quickly disappearing. Feng Xianghua angrily said to the sky, "Teacher, don't go overboard. This is our human Phoenix Empire's private matter, and if you try to stop me, this young empress will not hold back and will have a human Phoenix Empire's Phoenix Lord act." A gentle voice sounded out from the sky. "Little girl Feng, don't use your human Phoenix Empire to scare this sovereign. You don't have to use your human Phoenix Empire to scare me. That person was invited by me, and his identity is far more complicated than you think. You still have to treat him with caution. Hearing this, Feng Chenghua's expression became serious. It seemed that Zhao Fu's identity was not simple at all. Chapter 13-14. The aura in the sky disappeared, and Feng Qianghua coldly harumphed as she looked at Lin Dapeng and Xiang Qianqian. Lin Dapeng immediately explained in fear that he was not familiar with Zhao Fu and had just happened to run into Zhao Fu. So he told him what had happened with Zhao Fu. He did not have much of a relationship with Zhao Fu, so he naturally would not help Zhao Fu. However, if Feng Qianghua wanted to kill him, his family would not dare to say anything, as Feng Qianghua's identity was simply too terrifying. Feng Qianghua then looked at Xiang Qianqian, who did not dare to hide anything, and told her what had happened with Zhao Fu. What a lewd slut. He actually has the ability to seduce women. After hearing Xiang Qianqian's explanation, he looked at Xiang Qianqian's drenched dress and furiously cursed before flying to the side. At the same time, the power binding the two of them disappeared, and Lin Dapeng hurriedly left, not daring to stay for another moment. Xiang Qianqian also left. As she thought about what Zhao Fu had just done to her, her face became incredibly red, looking incredibly alluring. At the same time, she felt quite indignant and wanted Zhao Fu to viciously do her again. Zhao Fu's body teleported 10,000 meters away, and before he could react, his body was affected by the spatial energy and fell forwards. There was a woman sitting cross-legged in front of Zhao Fu. This woman's looks could be said to be perfect, and she was not inferior to Feng Qianghua by much. She had a pair of sword-like eyebrows and looked quite heroic. She looked quite similar to Jian Liyue, and she gave off a corporeal sword intent. Zhao Fu's body fell towards her, and Zhao Fu's body was unable to react in time. Just as Zhao Fu's body was about to fall onto the woman's body, the woman suddenly opened her eyes, and a sword light shot out. The woman sitting cross-legged on the ground suddenly opened her eyes, and a sword light shot out. A massive sword chi easily sent Zhao Fu flying, and he crashed into a wall hundreds of meters away. The wall collapsed, and Zhao Fu coughed up a large mouthful of blood. Previously, Zhao Fu had already been injured. Now that he had received such a heavy blow, Zhao Fu's injuries were definitely not light. That woman was the third-ranked on the heaven rankings, Jian Liyue. She was the third-ranked beauty from the previous heaven rankings, and she was also Jian Liyue's older sister. Who are you? Why did you appear in my courtyard? Jian Liyue looked at Zhao Fu coldly, and her voice seemed to contain a sword power that could cut one's skin. Zhao Fu inwardly cursed. Why had he encountered such a powerful person? Zhao Fu did not know who this woman was, but he could sense that her aura was even stronger than Feng Qianghua's. Sorry, I didn't mean to barge into this place. I got off the horse and left, Zhao Fu said as he climbed up from the ground with great difficulty. After all, he had barged into this place and had been attacked by this woman. Moreover, this woman was even stronger than Feng Qianghua, so how could Zhao Fu dare to say anything? Jian Liyue coldly looked at Zhao Fu and allowed Zhao Fu to leave, not seeming to have any intentions of attacking. Zhao Fu then slowly closed his eyes. However, Zhao Fu did not feel good because the sword energy that had struck him was still corroding his body, making him feel as if there were swords cutting into his body. Shing! A sword hum tore through the air as a blood-red sword mark appeared on Zhao Fu's forehead. An extremely terrifying, berserk, twisted, and murderous black and blood-red sword intent flooded out. Under that sword energy, the killing sword intent within Zhao Fu's body went out of control and exploded out with his own power, dispelling that terrifying sword energy's corrosion. Jian Liyue, who had her eyes closed, sensed the massive wave of sword intent and once again opened her eyes. Her body exploded out with a massive white sword intent that flooded towards the killing sword intent. Boom! A muffled sound rang out as the sword intent that flooded out from Zhao Fu's body was dissipated by Jian Liyue's white sword intent. Even though Zhao Fu's sword intent was not weak, his cultivation was pitifully weak and was not a match for that white sword intent at all. The white sword intent was like a flood as it coldly flowed toward Zhao Fu. As a killing sword intent that could kill celestials, how could it be so easy to deal with? Boom! Zhao Fu's body gave off an intense black and blood-red light as he turned into an intense ray of sword light and gave off an incredibly sharp aura as he shot into the sky. An explosion sounded out as the Emperor Killing Sword world started to tremble. Massive amounts of killing sword intent madly gathered, and the sky was dyed blood-red. A massive wave of killing sword intent gave off world-destroying power as it poured down like a heavenly river, shaking the surroundings. The white sword intent that was ferociously rushing towards Zhao Fu was instantly inundated by the black and blood-red sword intent, and it crazily rushed towards Jian Yue like an uncontrollable beast. Jian Yue's expression was quite serious, and she felt a trace of fear. She was not afraid of the incoming sword intent, as this sort of attack could not harm her. What she cared about was the sword intent itself, which was an extremely terrifying extreme sword intent. Xing! Jian Yue slashed out with her finger, and a white arc of light containing unimaginable power slashed out, instantly destroying the black and blood-red sword intent. By now, Zhao Fu had forcefully suppressed the uncontrollable sword intent, and his expression was quite unsightly because he had offended yet another major figure. The nothingness cloak could teleport 3 times per day, and he had already teleported twice before. Facing this situation, Zhao Fu did not hesitate and teleported a 3rd time. Boom! A white sword light shot over, bringing with it an incredibly sharp power. It tore apart space and caused Zhao Fu's teleportation to fail. "Why are you running?" Jian Yue said as she coldly looked at Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu felt that these words were quite familiar, and he felt that he had heard them before. Zhao Fu bitterly smiled and inwardly sighed at how unlucky he was, and he replied, "I was unable to control my power just then. I apologize." Jian Yue continued to speak coldly. "I can ignore what happened just then, but tell me, who are you? Why do you have such a terrifying sword intent? And what is the name of that sword intent?" Zhao Fu was in a difficult position because Zhao Fu's identity and the killing sword intent could not be leaked. Otherwise, the danger would be even greater, and the Qin Empire might even be implicated. Zhao Fu couldn't pretend not to know, so he could only apologize. "I'm sorry. I am unable to tell you." Jian Yue's expression did not change at all. She lightly nodded and said in a domineering tone, "Then you can stay here. Once I understand your sword intent, I will let you go." F***CK. Were all people from Emperor Path College so domineering? I'm so angry. Chapter 13:15. However, even though Zhao Fu felt quite angry, he could only endure it. After all, the person in front of him was a bit stronger than Feng Qianghua, and it would be even easier for her to kill him. Zhao Fu could only compromise and say, "If your excellency is interested in this sword intent, this lowly one can leave some for your excellency to comprehend." Jian Yue coldly looked at Zhao Fu and asked, "Which do you think I'll choose between leaving some of the sword intent or the main body of the sword intent?" Zhao Fu's heart sank. It was evident that most people would choose to leave the main body of the sword intent, as that would make it easier to comprehend it. If that was the case, wouldn't he be trapped here forever? Perhaps his life would be in danger. What should I do now? Zhao Fu started to think about how to escape, and he even regretted coming to Emperor Path College. "Lowly man, do you think you can escape from this young empress?" Golden light filled the sky as countless phoenix images danced, and Feng Qianghua gave off a massive aura as she appeared in the sky. Zhao Fu's heart sank. He had never thought that Feng Qianghua would find him again so quickly. However, Zhao Fu was unable to escape from just Jian Yue, and with Feng Qianghua here, Zhao Fu felt that he was going to die here. Jian Yue looked up, and seeing Feng Qianghua arrive, her expression became serious, and she said coldly, "Feng Qianghua, this is my courtyard. Please leave." Feng Qianghua coldly harumphed and pointed at Zhao Fu as she said, "This young empress doesn't want to come here. I'm here to take away this lowly man." Hearing Feng Qianghua's words, Zhao Fu felt quite displeased. Jian Yue looked at Feng Qianghua with her beautiful eyes and said calmly, "Everything in my courtyard belongs to me, so he's also mine. Do you think you can take away something that belongs to me?" Feng Xianghua's gaze was cold as she said with a trace of anger, "Jian Yue, this young empress is going to take him away no matter what. This time, I will take her away no matter what, and she will be the imperial concubine of the human Phoenix Empire in the future. I advise you not to fight with me over her." Jian Yue felt quite surprised and looked at Zhao Fu. Even though she was slightly stronger than Feng Qianghua, the faction behind her, the human Phoenix Empire, was more powerful than the Sword Sect. As such, Feng Qianghua was using the human Phoenix Empire to suppress her. However, Jian Yue was not someone who would submit so easily. The sword intent in Zhao Fu's body might be of a higher level than hers. If she could comprehend or obtain it, it would undoubtedly bring her unimaginable benefits. She might even surpass the #1 sovereign monarch. How could Jian Yue give up on such a great fortuitous encounter that was presented to her personally? "I've already said that everything in my courtyard belongs to me, and no one can take it away," Jian Yue said as she looked at Feng Qianghua with her beautiful eyes. Her aura was no weaker than Feng Qianghua's at all. At this moment, Zhao Fu was still a bit nervous. Seeing the two extremely domineering women facing off against each other, his mind was thinking of a way to escape. Screech! A massive phoenix's cry sounded out as a massive golden phoenix appeared behind Feng Qianghua, giving off a massive aura that shook the surroundings. Feng Qianghua grabbed out with her hand, and the golden phoenix turned into an extremely long golden saber. "Jian Yue, it's been a long time since we've fought. Let's see if your majesty can keep your third place today." Boom! Feng Qianghua exploded out with her power, turning into a ray of golden light that gave off boundless power as she shot towards Jian Yue. Boom! Jian Yue was expressionless as she drew a white sword, and a massive, corporeal sword intent spread out, turning into a ray of white light that gave off an incredibly sharp aura as it met the incoming golden ray of light. Bang! A shocking explosion sounded out as the two rays of light collided with immense power, resulting in a destructive shockwave that blasted out. The clouds in the sky were reduced to nothingness and thin cracks appeared in the sky. The destructive aura flooded out in all directions, and a bone-chilling coldness flowed out. Everyone's expressions fell because their souls trembled under this aura. The battle between two experts who had surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm was naturally incredibly terrifying, causing the heavens and earth to dim. The sun and moon dimmed, and clouds gathered. Sand and pebbles flew everywhere, and trees swayed. It was as if there was a catastrophe. Zhao Fu obediently hid far away. With Zhao Fu's power, if he stayed close, he would die without a doubt. However, Zhao Fu hid far away and did not dare to run. Even though those two people were fighting, they had locked onto Zhao Fu the entire time. If Zhao Fu ran, those two people would attack Zhao Fu, and Zhao Fu would have no hope at all. More than half of Emperor Path College's people sensed their battle, and looking at the abnormal signs in the distance, they did not understand what was going on. Some people felt curious and gathered there. Finally, some people understood what was going on, and news quickly spread. What? Jian Yue and Feng Qianghua were fighting over a man? And they were fighting so ferociously? How is this possible? Whether it was Jian Yue or Feng Qianghua, both of them were peerless beauties. Not only were they peerlessly beautiful, but they also had monstrous strength and terrifying statuses. They had countless suitors in Emperor Path College. Now, hearing that they were fighting over a man with their status and beauty, how could things be like this? No one believed this. If it was said that the two of them had fought over a small matter, everyone would believe it. However, they would never believe that the two of them would fight over a man. This was simply impossible. How could someone spread such a stupid rumor? However, even though they did not believe this stupid rumor, because of the battle between the two of them, everyone could not help but go over. They had never thought that the rumor was true. They were indeed fighting over a man, and that man was the imperial concubine that Feng Qianghua had personally announced. Now, Jin Yue had come over to snatch him away. At that moment, countless people's hearts shattered. They felt immense envy and hatred towards that man, and they wanted that man to die without a trace. Boom! The terrifying battle between the two of them caused a higher being to finally act. A massive power instantly locked down the two people fighting in the sky. A square-faced, middle-aged man dressed in black robes and giving off a dignified aura appeared and loudly yelled, "What's going on with you two? Do you know that Emperor Path College forbids private battles? How dare you act so brazenly?" Zhao Fu felt incredibly delighted because the opportunity he had been waiting for had finally come. The two of them had been restricted by a higher being, so they naturally could not do anything to Zhao Fu. As such, Zhao Fu immediately activated his nothingness cloak and disappeared. Chapter 13:16. Zhao Fu turned and saw a group of handsome men doing it next to the pool. Seeing how much they were enjoying themselves, Zhao Fu was quite shocked. It was the first time he had seen such a scene. Zhao Fu looked at Zhao Fu and felt quite shocked. It was the first time he had seen such a thing. However, seeing that this was someone else's private territory, Zhao Fu did not want to get involved and just wanted to quickly leave. Now that he had used the nothingness cloak's 3 teleportations, he could only rely on himself now. While no one was paying attention, Zhao Fu stealthily walked to the side. Bang! A muffled explosion sounded out, and before Zhao Fu could react, he was pushed to the ground by a person. His hands were grabbed by that person and pressed against the ground. He had a handsome face, a pair of devilish purple eyes, and a head of long, pitch-black hair. His upper body was bare, and his figure was very slender and fit. Every muscle on his body was very well proportioned, neither exaggerated nor weak. A strong, masculine aura assaulted one's senses. Immediately, Zhao Fu vigorously struggled, but he could not break free at all. Even though this person did not have Emperor Heaven Realm cultivation, he was still an Emperor Heaven Realm expert, and his strength completely suppressed Zhao Fu. Fudge! Why is another powerful person? I'm going to be unlucky. Zhao Fu inwardly cursed. How had he teleported here? Why was everyone he had met so powerful? How was he supposed to live? This was a pure hell for weaklings. Also, this position isn't right. Also, the gaze of the man pressing down on me isn't right either. The handsome man pressing down on Zhao Fu looked at Zhao Fu's incredibly handsome face with his violet eyes, and he gave a trace of a devilish smile as he said in amazement, "You're so beautiful." Hearing this, and hearing the gasps of the other handsome men, Zhao Fu's heart sank as he had a bad feeling. Zhao Fu did not dare to continue thinking and hurriedly said, "This lowly one accidentally barged in and did not mean to offend anyone. Please allow this lowly one to leave." The handsome man was startled and lightly laughed as he said, "Why do you want to leave? This young master has already fallen in love with you. Just stay here and accompany this young master. This young master will give you everything you want. Become this young master's beloved wife. Okay?" Hearing his loving words, Zhao Fu had goosebumps all over his body. He felt extremely uncomfortable. "I'm really not interested in men. You should find someone else." The handsome man smiled warmly and said, "It's all right. This young master will make you fall in love with this young master. You have such peerless beauty and that unique, noble, and enchanting temperament. If this young master misses this chance, I'm afraid I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Women are vulgar creatures. Naturally, they are not worthy of you. You meeting me must be fate's arrangement. I will love you for the rest of my life." If an ordinary woman were to hear such infatuated and affectionate words, coupled with the appearance of a handsome man, there would be no woman who would not be moved. However, Zhao Fu was a man, and he definitely did not like men. Hearing these words, he did not feel moved and instead felt disgusted. If he had known this would happen, Zhao Fu would have stayed with Jian Yue and let her research sword intent. At the very least, he could have chosen Feng Qianghua. At the very least, she was a woman. Beloved wife, this husband can't take it anymore. The handsome man looked at Zhao Fu with his violet eyes and gave a trace of a smile as he slowly kissed Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu was given a big fright and hurriedly said, "Wait, I'm Feng Qianghua's man, and I'm the man that Jian Yue needs. You can't do anything to me, or else they won't let you off." Now, Zhao Fu had no other choice but to bring up the two of them. Their cultivations were higher than this man's, so they would definitely suppress him, making it so that he would not dare to do anything to him. Perhaps he would be able to escape this calamity. Hearing Feng Qianghua and Jian Yue's names, the handsome man paused and said to himself, "So it's the man that they've taken a fancy to. No wonder this prince was so moved." Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief. It seemed that the handsome man was quite wary of Feng Qianghua and Jian Yue, so the handsome man most likely would not do anything to Zhao Fu. "Ha ha!" The handsome man looked at Zhao Fu and laughed. "Beloved wife, do you think this prince will let you off? Since it's the man that they want, it means that this prince's taste is quite good. This prince wants you. This prince will eat you now, and even if they come later, they won't be able to do anything to this prince. Even though they're a bit stronger than this prince isn't afraid of them." Hearing this, Zhao Fu's heart sank, and he struggled, wanting to break free from the handsome man's hands. The handsome man gave a trace of an evil smile, and countless traces of violet qi came out of his body and flowed into Zhao Fu's body, causing Zhao Fu's breathing to become ragged and his body to heat up. His face became red, and his eyes became lustful. Beloved wife, just enjoy it to the fullest. No man can resist this prince's violet male qi. The handsome man lightly leaned over and slowly kissed Zhao Fu. On the other side, Feng Qianghua and Jian Yue had been bound by a higher being. Because of the battle just then, both sides had been enraged, so they looked at each other angrily. However, sensing that Zhao Fu had instantly escaped, their expressions fell. They wanted to stop him, but they were unable to do so. "Teacher, hurry and let go of me." The two of them cried out anxiously towards the black-robed man. This caused the black-robed man to feel quite startled. He did not understand why they were so worried, but he did not let go of them. He coldly harumphed and said, "You should explain why you're fighting in Emperor Path College. Otherwise, no matter how prestigious your statuses are, you'll be punished." Feng Qianghua angrily looked at Jian Yue and said furiously, "It was Jian Yue who stole this young empress man and wanted to take him for herself. She's shameless to the extreme, which is why this young empress acted." Jian coldly harumphed. "Did he admit that he was yours? He barged into my courtyard, so he's mine. Didn't you come to steal him? What a joke. This young empress has long since declared him to be an imperial concubine. If you don't believe me, you can ask around. Let alone saying that he's this young empress man. Even if he's not this young empress man, I'll take him for myself." Feng Qianghua said loudly as she glared at Jian Yue. Jian Yue coldly replied, "I don't care. Who told him to barge into my courtyard? Anything that enters my courtyard is mine." Feng Qianghua felt quite angry and wanted to say something. The middle-aged man said, "That's enough. The two of you actually dared to fight over a man. Aren't you losing face for the factions behind you? Why don't you think about who you are? Aren't you afraid of being laughed at?" Chapter 13:17. Hearing that he would have to face the wall for a few days and have his cultivation sealed for half a month, Zhao Fu had long since run. Once he ran, with how big the world was, how would they be able to find him in the future? That was impossible. Now that some time had passed, it was possible that Zhao Fu had long since escaped from Emperor Path College. They did not know that Zhao Fu had been unlucky enough to enter another place and had been pressed down by a man. Feng Qianghua looked quite worried and refused, saying, "No, teacher, that man is extremely important to this young empress, and this young empress will accept the punishment. However, teacher, please allow this young empress to capture that man. The human Phoenix Empire will fully support this young empress decision." Zhao Fu had the highest grade of the Dragon Phoenix and had a terrifying divine bloodline. Just with those two things, her mother would not blame her for anything she did and would instead strongly support her. As such, she was willing to use the human Phoenix Empire to pressure the middle-aged man. Me too. I'll accept the punishment, but please allow me to capture that man first. The Sword Sect will support this decision, Jian Yue said. Jian Yue also said she also wanted to obtain that terrifying sword intent from Zhao Fu's body. It would allow her to go through massive changes. Hearing that the two of them were using the factions behind them to pressure him, the middle-aged man felt quite furious. Only a faction like theirs would dare to speak to a higher being like this. And he said, "Don't use the factions behind you to pressure this sovereign. Emperor Path College isn't a place where you can act as you please. Go and face the wall for this sovereign." Hearing this, Feng Xianghua and Jian Yue felt quite worried and angry. They started to struggle, wanting to break free from the middle-aged man's restriction. However, that was a higher being's restriction, so Jian Yue and Feng Xianghua naturally could not break free. The middle-aged man was about to take them to the law enforcement hall. "Wait, brotherly." A voice sounded out as a white-robed, handsome-looking young man appeared. The aura he gave off was quite terrifying. He was another higher being. Hearing his voice, the middle-aged man stopped and looked at the handsome-looking young man as he asked, "What is it?" The handsome young man chuckled and said, "Look at how angry and anxious they are. I'm afraid that man is really important to them. This sovereign also wants to know what kind of man he is to be able to make two peerless beauties act like this." The middle-aged man looked at the bound Jian Yue and Feng Xianghua. In order to capture Zhao Fu, Jian Yue and Feng Xianghua could only give in and bow to the middle-aged man, saying, "Teacher, please spare us this once." Hearing this, the anger in the middle-aged man's heart dissipated, and he said, "You better be more careful next time." With a casual wave of his hand, the power binding the two disappeared. After Feng Xianghua and Jian Yue recovered their strength, they immediately flew in the direction that Zhao Fu had disappeared. The people in the surroundings also started to look for Zhao Fu, wanting to see what kind of man he was for Feng Xianghua and Jian Yue to act like this. However, they did not even need to think about it to know that he was definitely a world-shaking and peerless man for these two geniuses to act like this. It could be said that more than half of Emperor Path College was looking for Zhao Fu, and many people had heard about this matter. They also knew about what had happened to Zhao Fu, and they felt quite shocked. When had such a terrifying figure come to Emperor Path College? The handsome-looking man looked at the alluring Zhao Fu and leaned over, about to kiss Zhao Fu's lips, and the two of them were about to do something indescribable. However, Zhao Fu's breathing became ragged, and his body became hot, and his face became red. This was because the six desires demonic chi within his body had absorbed the handsome-looking man's violet desire male chi, allowing Zhao Fu to use the six desires demonic chi's power. Just as the handsome-looking man was about to kiss him, Zhao Fu exploded out with the six desires demonic chi, which flooded into the handsome-looking man's body. The handsome-looking man was given a big fright. He had never thought that Zhao Fu would be able to break through his restrictions. He had been caught off guard, and a massive amount of six desires demonic chi madly flowed into his body and started to corrode it. The handsome-looking man immediately used his Emperor Heaven Realm power to suppress it, but he was unable to quickly dispel it, causing his expression to become quite unsightly. Swish! Zhao Fu's body suddenly gave off a yellow light, and he turned into a ray of light and fused into the ground. The handsome-looking man felt that the situation was quite bad and grabbed at the ground. A massive wave of energy flowed into the ground, and six figures were pulled out. They all looked the same as Zhao Fu, and their auras were the same as well. However, after being pulled out, they quickly turned into clay people. It was Zhao Fu who had used the cloning clay people. After escaping from the handsome-looking man's side, Zhao Fu quickly ran. He did not have any other thoughts and just wanted to escape from that place. The handsome-looking man sat cross-legged on the ground and used his Emperor Heaven Realm power to dispel the six desires' demonic cheese power. The handsome-looking man felt quite surprised at this power, as it seemed to be able to suppress his purple desires' male chi. Aha! Thinking about Zhao Fu, the handsome-looking man lightly laughed and found that he was becoming more and more interested in Zhao Fu. He turned to the men doing it and said, "You've all had enough fun. Now, help this prince find my beloved wife." The group of handsome men stopped and lightly laughed as they said, "Very well. However, after you find her, don't just dote on him." Following this, the group of handsome men put on their clothes and left. News of the handsome-looking man looking for Zhao Fu quickly spread, and everyone looked quite shocked. Why was Prince Ian also looking for that person? Could it be that something had happened? However, it was said that that man was abnormally handsome and was quite rare. With Prince Ziyun's fetishes, he would definitely fall in love with him, and the two of them would do indescribable things. Just thinking about it caused some Fujoshi's hearts to speed up. However, after hearing that Prince Yun was looking for Zhao Fu, Feng Qianghua and Jian Yue's expressions fell. They thought of something bad and became even more eager to find Zhao Fu. They even mobilized others to look for Zhao Fu and gave them great rewards. Now, Emperor Path College became quite lively because of Zhao Fu's appearance. After hearing that everyone was looking for him, Zhao Fu naturally felt even more afraid and nervously ran everywhere. He could not resist a single one of them. There were simply too many experts in Emperor Path College, and it was not a place he could come to. Also, why is Emperor Path College so big? Where's the exit? Zhao Fu felt like a headless fly and randomly flew around, unable to find his way. He started to feel quite worried. If this went on, he would definitely be caught. AI, does that person look like the person we're looking for? A person suddenly pointed at Zhao Fu's back and said to the people around him. Hearing this, Zhao Fu immediately ran, and the others felt that something was off and quickly chased after Zhao Fu. Chapter 13:18. This place was actually only 1,000 meters wide, and the ground was flat and paved with black bricks. There was a massive black magic formation at the center that gave off intense demonic light, and there was a tall wall surrounding this place. There were actually very powerful restrictions here as well, but they did not seem to be able to stop Zhao Fu. Instead, they kept everyone else outside, allowing Zhao Fu to enter and avoid the others' pursuit. This place gave off a massive amount of demonic chi and a cold and evil aura. At a glance, one could tell that this was not a good place. Zhao Fu did not want to cause any more trouble, so he planned to leave from the other side. Come here. Suddenly, an immense will surged into Zhao Fu's mind, causing Zhao Fu's body to walk uncontrollably towards the black magic array. Zhao Fu was shocked and cursed. Damn it! How did I end up in a place that I shouldn't have come to? With that powerful will, it's obvious that I can't resist it. Sir, I really didn't mean to intrude. Please let me leave. Zhao Fu did not know how many times he had said something like this. Why was Emperor Path College so dangerous everywhere? Moreover, everyone was incredibly domineering. In the face of such a powerful will, it would be a lie if Zhao Fu was not afraid or nervous. Because this will felt like it came from a higher being, Zhao Fu could not resist at all, so he could only loudly shout. Humph, let you go? You must be dreaming, right? This old man can sense your bloodline. It's a divine bloodline. Not only is your bloodline terrifying, but there are even more terrifying powers within your body. This old man is going to refine you into a clone and leave this place. A gloomy and twisted old man's voice resounded. Zhao Fu now discovered that this array was actually a sealing array, and it was sealing an extremely terrifying old monster. What kind of lousy academy is this? To seal such a powerful old monster, couldn't they protect it more tightly? It's good to set up all kinds of restrictions. How can we let people casually barge in? Zhao Fu felt quite angry. He felt so stupid and unlucky. Why had he come to such a place and his life was in danger? Zhao Fu felt that he would never come to Emperor Path College again. Zhao Fu's body moved uncontrollably to the center of the black magic formation, and he sat down cross-legged on the ground. The black magic formation automatically spun, and a boundless demonic might spread out, causing the surrounding space to seem to freeze. The demonic aura of heaven and earth gathered in an instant, and thick demonic clouds covered the entire sky. Muffled thunder rang out in the demonic clouds, and black arcs of lightning appeared in the clouds. An extremely oppressive power pressed down from the sky, making it difficult for people to breathe. The dark and evil demonic chi caused the temperature to plummet, making it seem like a world of ice and snow. It also gave off an incredibly terrifying feeling. The abnormal sign spread throughout the entirety of Emperor Path College, and sensing this terrifying demonic intent, the teachers' and students' expressions fell as they hurried over. There were many people gathered here, looking at the terrifying abnormal signs in the sky, including Feng Xianghua and Jian Yue. Did you personally see him come in here? Feng Xianghua's expression was serious as she asked a group of people coldly. The group of people nodded in fear and said, "We personally saw him go in, but when we wanted to go in, we were stopped by the restrictions." How could someone enter here? Jian Yue frowned, feeling quite confused. Even though this place looked quite ordinary, there were powerful restrictions set down, and no one had ever entered before. She had never heard of such a thing in all her time at Emperor Path College. What? This prince's beloved wife is trapped in there? An incredibly handsome young man in purple appeared. He looked a bit anxious and worried as he looked into the restriction. Hearing this, Feng Xianghua felt quite displeased and glared at Prince Ziyun as she warned. "Ziyun, she's this young empress imperial concubine. It's best if you don't have any other thoughts, or else don't blame this young empress for being impolite." Xing! A massive sword hum sounded out as Jian Yue attacked. A massive sword light slashed towards the restriction, but the restriction did not react at all. Feng Xianghua vigorously slashed out, causing a massive saber light to give off a ferocious saber wind that seemed to be able to destroy everything. However, when the saber hit the restriction, it was like cotton hitting an iron wall, and there was no reaction at all. Even with Jian Yue and Feng Xianghua's power that surpassed the Emperor Heaven Realm, they were unable to shake the restriction at all. It could be seen just how terrifying this restriction was. If they were unable to shake it at all, Prince Ziyun would be even more so. He ignored Feng Xianghua's words and said to the people beside him, "Hurry and call a teacher. This isn't something that students can break." Just as he finished speaking, the handsome-looking young man and black-robed, middle-aged man appeared in the sky with serious expressions. Seeing them appear, Feng Xianghua felt quite delighted and said, "Teachers, please open the restriction and save the imperial concubine. This young empress will greatly reward you." The handsome-looking young man shook his head seriously and said, "Even this sovereign is unable to open the restriction here. Do you know that the restriction here was set down by the dean?" Hearing the name Old Dean, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Even though they had never seen the mysterious Old Dean before, they knew that he was a half-step celestial. The restriction he had set down was something that ordinary higher beings would not be able to break through. After reaching that realm, one would have some true celestial power. Looking at the ripples coming from within, it was evident that something terrifying had happened. However, the restriction could not be broken through. Could Zhao Fu die inside? Feng Xianghua and the others felt quite worried, pained, and helpless. Someone so important to them had died here so easily. It was simply a waste. Zhao Fu sat cross-legged at the center of the black magic formation and felt quite terrified. He did everything he could to break free from that will's control. However, there was no effect at all. Was he really going to die here? Boom! A massive wave of demonic energy exploded out of the ground like a volcano, shaking the surroundings. A black pillar of light shot into the sky, causing the sky to tremble. Countless traces of demonic chi flowed into Zhao Fu's body through the pillar of light. A massive wave of demonic energy flowed out of the ground and madly flowed into Zhao Fu's body. Boy, is it very painful for your body to be corroded by the demonic qi? However, in just a while, you will become this old man's puppet clone. This is your honor. The eerie and twisted elderly man's voice once again sounded out in Zhao Fu's mind. Chapter 1319. Old man, did you make a mistake? How come I don't feel any pain at all? Instead, I feel quite comfortable. Now that he knew that the old man was not willing to let him go and wanted to harm him, Zhao Fu did not hold back and said mockingly. These words caused the old monster to feel quite furious, and he exploded out with even more intense demonic qi that madly flowed into Zhao Fu's body. He did not waste words with Zhao Fu and wanted to directly refine Zhao Fu into a puppet clone. The sky seemed to be affected by the old monster, and heaven and earth demonic energy flooded down, giving off a powerful aura as it entered Zhao Fu's body. The ripples that came from here were like ripples, and each ripple was stronger than the last. The terrifying power caused countless people's hands and feet to feel cold, and their bodies could not help but tremble as they felt immense terror. Jian Yue and the others' expressions were quite unsightly. From these ripples, it seemed that Zhao Fu's chances of survival were quite low, and it was possible that he was already dead. A wave of demonic qi flowed into Zhao Fu's body from above, while a wave of demonic qi flowed into Zhao Fu's body from below. Even though the demonic qi was incredibly powerful and looked quite terrifying, after entering Zhao Fu's body, it became abnormally docile and gave Zhao Fu a very comfortable feeling. Old man, how can you be such trash? I don't feel any pain at all and feel quite comfortable. Aren't you too weak? You want to corrode me with just this bit of power? Zhao Fu continued to mock and ridicule the old monster. At that moment, the old monster sensed that something was off and hurriedly tried to stop, but he found that he could not. It was not because of Zhao Fu, but because of the formation sealing him. Thinking of something, the old monster angrily cursed. Julo, you dare to trick this old man. Don't let this old man out, or else I'll make you die a horrible death. Hearing the old man's curses, Zhao Fu felt that things were not quite as he had expected. However, as an enemy, the more displeased the old man was, the happier Zhao Fu was. In the underground space, there was a bald old man whose skin was like a layer of plants. His hands were constantly forming hand seals, trying to prevent his energy from leaking out. But right now, it was as if someone had opened up a hole in his body and his energy was being forcefully absorbed. Seeing that he was unable to stop Zhao Fu, the elder's expression hardened. He wanted to use his will to kill Zhao Fu. However, something unexpected happened. Boom! The sealing magic formation on the ground quickly spun, and a massive power slammed into the elder's body, causing his body to tremble. He coughed up a large mouthful of blood and collapsed to the ground. An invisible hand grabbed onto the elder's body and drew out traces of blood from his body. The elder's face immediately became incredibly pale, and no matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free at all. The strands of blood floated upwards and floated out of the black magic formation, entering Zhao Fu's body. Now, Zhao Fu's body felt a stabbing pain. However, the pain was not very strong and lasted for a while. However, Zhao Fu's throat felt hot as a black flower appeared. This black flower was pure black and looked like a rose, and it gave off an intense demonic qi. What was shocking was that there were countless beautiful demon women with bewitching figures dancing on each black flower petal. The black flower itself had a bewitching power, and it could easily control other people's souls. This was one of the 7 wondrous flowers, the evil spirit abyss flower. After the evil spirit abyss flower appeared on Zhao Fu's throat, the black magic formation on the ground gradually stopped, and the demonic qi in the surroundings disappeared. The abnormal signs also disappeared, and the elder fell unconscious, looking much weaker. Zhao Fu's body regained its freedom, but looking at the large number of people outside, he could not help but gulp in shock. There was an ocean of people outside, and he would not be able to escape. What's more, it was not just Jian Yue, but also Feng Qianghua, young Master Ziyun, and two higher beings. None of them were people that Zhao Fu could resist. He had been quite happy after escaping this calamity, but how could Zhao Fu be happy now? The demonic qi within the restriction dissipated, and everyone could clearly see the scene within the restriction. They were all quite surprised to see that Zhao Fu was looking at them like he was fine. Feng Qianghua let out a sigh of relief and flirtatiously smiled as she said, "Lord husband, hurry up and come out. I'll take you back to the human Phoenix Empire." Hearing Feng Qianghua's flirtatious tone and how she called Zhao Fu husband, countless people's hearts melted. It was a pity that she was not calling them that, and many furious, hateful, and jealous gazes gathered on Zhao Fu's body. If looks could kill, Zhao Fu would have died hundreds of thousands of times without leaving anything behind. Hearing this, Zhao Fu got goosebumps and felt a chill in his heart. Zhao Fu could clearly remember how she had treated him in the past, and how Zhao Fu found that they could not come in. Otherwise, they would have long since come to capture him. Zhao Fu let out a sigh of relief. Jian Yue's voice was cold as she said, "Come out and come back to the sword sect with me. I promise that I won't harm your life, and no one will be able to harm you." Young Master Ziyun also yelled, "Beloved wife, you know how this prince feels towards you. This prince is definitely more sincere than those two. This prince will also do his best to protect you and won't let anyone harm you at all." Hearing this, countless people felt incredibly disgusted and felt that something had definitely happened between young Master Ziyun and that person. There were definitely many things that could not be described. None of the three choices were good, and the best option was to choose Jian Yue without sacrificing her body. Cough, cough. The handsome young man in white looked at the evil spirit abyss flower in Zhao Fu's throat and lightly coughed a few times before saying, "This boy is fated with Emperor Path College. How about you join Emperor Path College? This sovereign can make the decision that you don't need to pass the examination to enter Emperor Path College and become a special student." The surroundings were immediately sent into an uproar. It was not just Feng Qianghua and the others who wanted that man, but even a higher being from Emperor Path College had personally invited him to join. This was incredibly rare in Emperor Path College, and it could be said that it was a joke. Feng Qianghua and the others' faces became pale. They had never thought that even Emperor Path College would personally participate. Things had become quite complicated, and they did not know what Zhao Fu should do. There were three people in the crowd who were the most shocked. They had all been attracted over by the abnormal signs. The first was naturally Zhang Mingwei. He recognized Zhao Fu and had never thought that he would meet him here. As such, he told Zhang Wuyue, causing him to feel incredibly shocked. Now, this person had been invited by Emperor Path College, the Human Phoenix Empire, the Sword Sect, and a few other large factions. All of these factions were much more powerful than them, and now he understood why Zhao Fu had Heaven's Secrets and Emperor Killer. There was a reason for all of this. Chapter 1320. Zhao Fu felt quite surprised and delighted. He had never thought that Emperor Path College's higher being would say such a thing. In that case, the best choice was naturally Emperor Path College. There are no sacrifices or restrictions. Moreover, he did not have to pass any tests, and, as a special student, he would be able to enter Emperor Path College early. He would not have to wait until next year, which would save him a lot of trouble. This was a good thing, and after thinking about it, Zhao Fu prepared to agree. Feng Xianghua could tell what Zhao Fu was thinking. If Emperor Path College participated, she would not have the ability to steal from Zhao Fu, so she immediately spoke. "Husband, if you choose the Human Phoenix Empire, you can directly become an imperial concubine in the future and wield the greatest power in the world. This is something that countless people can only dream of, and you can easily obtain it. Moreover, this young empress can promise that I will only have you as my man." Jian Yue understood that Zhao Fu would choose Emperor Path College, and hearing Feng Qianghua's conditions, she also spoke. "You have that terrifying sword intent, and if you don't become a sword cultivator, it would be too much of a pity. If you choose the sword sect, I can have the sword sect master personally take you as a disciple. If you become a legacy disciple, no one will dare to harm you at all. Hearing the other two people's conditions, young Master Yun hurriedly called out, "Beloved, if you choose this young master, everything about this young master will belong to you. If you choose this young master, then this young master's everything will belong to you. Believe this young master. No one in this world can love you more than this young master." Hearing these words, Zhao Fu felt quite hesitant. Jian Yue's conditions were quite good, and there was no need to consider the other two. The handsome-looking young higher being slightly frowned and said, "If you choose Emperor Path College, not only will you be a special student, but this sovereign will also take you as a disciple and allow you to sense the heavens and earth's Tao." This caused the people in the surroundings to cry out in shock. To be taken as a disciple by a higher being was something that countless people dreamed of, and this higher being was taking the initiative. Zhao Fu felt quite startled. It seemed that this was a better choice. Thinking about having a higher being protecting him, the benefits were unimaginable. However, it seemed that the higher being did not really want to take him as a disciple and had other intentions, making Zhao Fu feel quite hesitant. Suddenly, Zhao Fu's body trembled and gradually disappeared, causing the expressions of the countless people outside to fall. Only now did they realize that Zhao Fu's true body was not an Emperor Path College but a projection. After that, the crowd only saw Zhao Fu slowly disappearing before their eyes. Because there was a restrictive spell blocking them, they were powerless to do anything about it. Their hearts were filled with indignation. Fortunately, Zhao Fu did not make any choice, and Zhao Fu did not belong to any faction. This meant that they still had a chance to obtain Zhao Fu. Inside the resplendent hall, a noble and beautiful woman with a strong imperial aura was sitting on a phoenix chair, seriously reading through the memorials. "Queen Mother." Feng Xianghua walked in and called out unhappily. The beautiful woman lightly laughed and raised her head, her beautiful eyes looking at Feng Xianghua. "Who made my daughter unhappy? Was it that man? To be able to make my daughter personally call you husband, you really do have some ability." This beautiful woman was naturally Feng Xianghua's mother, the human Phoenix Empire's empress. She was called Feng Qianwang and had higher being level power. After hearing about what had happened at Emperor Path College, Zhao Fu felt incredibly shocked that Feng Xianghua had publicly announced that a man would be her imperial concubine and had even helped that man. It didn't seem like something her daughter could do. Feng Xianghua's face became slightly red as she said, "Mother Empress, if it weren't for the fact that he possesses the highest grade of dragon and phoenix, as well as the divine blood, I wouldn't have taken a liking to him." The highest level of dragon phoenix, Saint Blood? These two words caused the beautiful woman to be startled, and her expression immediately became serious. Dragons and phoenixes were extremely rare, and the highest grade of dragons and phoenixes were even more legendary. If Feng Xianghua had the support of a dragon phoenix and inherited the Emperor's throne, it would be incredibly beneficial to both her and the human Phoenix Empire. It would be dozens or even hundreds of times more useful than ordinary Phoenix Chi. Just this alone made her feel incredibly shocked because she had never seen a dragon phoenix before. Only after hearing about Saint Blood did she become serious. With the human Phoenix Empire's massive power, it could be ranked at the top of the human race. However, facing the legendary Holy Empires, it was still incredibly wary. It was not just the human Phoenix Empire, but all other factions that viewed Holy Empires with great importance. Hearing about Saint Blood, which only Holy Empire's holy sons had, and it reigned above countless sovereign bloodlines, Feng Qianhuang could not help but become serious. "Xianghua, tell me in detail what's going on." Hearing this, Feng Xianghua had long since expected the Mother Empress to be so serious. After all, Saint Blood was not an ordinary matter, so she explained everything in detail. "That fellow's quite interesting. He only has stage 9 cultivation, and yet he dares to come to Emperor Path College and cause so much trouble." Emperor Path College even made an exception and made him a special student. If I met such a miraculous man, I would also make him my imperial concubine. After hearing Feng Qianhua's story, Feng Qianhuang lightly laughed. Her beautiful smile caused the colors around her to dim, and it was not inferior to Feng Qianhua's at all. Feng Qianhua lightly harumphed and said, "Mother Empress, I plan to use the power of the human Phoenix Empire to find that person no matter what. Yes, I'll allow you to do so, but be careful and try not to injure him. His identity might be quite complicated," Feng Xianghua said as she lightly nodded. Feng Xianghua gave a trace of a smile and nodded before thinking of something and asking, "Mother Empress, why did that man charge into the demon land and an evil spirit abyss flower appear on his throat?" Feng Qianhuang knew about this and replied, "It counts as a legacy of power, but it was forcefully taken away. That's most likely why Emperor Path College's dean sealed that old monster there. However, it was obtained by an outsider. In order to preserve that power, Emperor Path College's higher beings took him in as a student. Is that power very terrifying?" Hearing that even a higher being wanted to keep that power, Feng Qianhua asked out of curiosity. Feng Qianhuang smiled and nodded. That old monster's main body is the world's first evil spirit abyss flower, and his power is incredibly terrifying. Anyone who isn't a half-step celestial would not be able to suppress him. There's a rumor in the demon world that when the evil spirit abyss flower blooms, demonic chi will become chaotic and countless demons will kill each other. After you bring him back, make sure to treat him well. He definitely won't be any weaker than you. Understood? Feng Xianghua smiled and agreed. Following this, she used all of the human Phoenix Empire's power to search for Zhao Fu. Chapter 1321. Within the grand and simple sword sex hall, a white-robed young man with a cold expression and giving off a powerful sword aura asked with a cold expression, Are you really going to fight for a man?" This young man was the sword sex sect leader. Even though he looked young, he had lived for many years. After all, he was Jian Yue's father, and his name was Jian Tianai. Jian Yue nodded calmly and admitted it without any explanation or hesitation. This caused everyone else in the hall to look quite confused. When they heard about this, with their familiarity with Jian Yue, they knew that she definitely would not do such a thing for a man. They had wanted to hear how Jian Yue would refute these laughable rumors, but they had never thought that she would boldly admit it. Jian Tianai was expressionless as he looked at Jian Yue. He did not feel that Jian Yue liked that person at all, so he asked, "Is that person important to you?" Jian Yue lightly nodded and said, "That person has an extremely terrifying ultimate sword intent, and its level might be above the sword intent that I've comprehended." "That's impossible." Everyone was shocked when they heard this because the sword sect was the strongest sword sect in the human domain. The sword intent they comprehended was an ultimate sword intent, and it was extremely famous even in the heaven domain. It was the highest level of sword intent. Now that they heard Jian Yue say that there was a sword will that was even stronger than their sect, how could they have imagined it? Faced with everyone's questioning, Jian Yue did not say anything. Instead, she took out an egg-sized orb of light. There was a strand of blood-red sword energy within it. This was a strand of sword intent that Jian Yue had captured from Zhao Fu's body. She gently tossed it out, and the ball of light flew into the air. The ball of light dissipated, and the strand of blood-colored sword energy shot out. Immediately, everyone sensed an extremely berserk, murderous, and twisted sword intent that stabbed at their souls like needles. Even though this strand of sword chi was small, the danger it gave off was immense, making everyone feel quite terrified. Jian Tianai looked at the trace of sword chi seriously and immediately said loudly, "All of you get out." The people in the surroundings were stunned. They immediately understood that they couldn't know what was going to happen next. This matter might be extremely important. Although they were curious, they still obeyed and left. Jian Yue's eyes lit up, and she looked slightly delighted as she asked, "Father, I've been waiting for a long time. Do you know what sword intent this is?" GNT and I did not reply to Jian Yue and looked at the blood-red sword Qi in the air. He stretched out his hand and tapped out, causing a trace of green sword Qi to shoot out and attack the blood-red sword Qi. Sensing the green sword Qi, the blood-red sword Qi did not show any fear and instead madly leapt over, quickly devouring the green sword Qi. The green sword Qi was quickly devoured and converted. GNT and I made up his mind and said in shock, "How could that person have such a sword intent? This is the legendary killing sword intent." Hearing this, Jian Yue looked quite shocked. As a sword cultivator, she had naturally heard of the killing sword intent. It was an extreme sword intent and an extreme killing intent fused into an extremely berserk and twisted sword intent. It was said that it had the power to kill celestials, and it had caused a catastrophe countless years ago. "Father, that's impossible. That person wasn't affected by the killing sword intent at all and maintained his rationality. He doesn't seem to have gone berserk or killed at all," Jian Yue said after thinking about it. GNT and I looked at that trace of sword Qi and explained, "This killing sword intent's sword intent and killing intent, as well as its own baleful aura, have all been greatly reduced. That person most likely used some sort of method to perfectly fuse with the killing sword intent, so they are not affected." Sensing the blood-red sword Qi in the air, GNT and I said with a trace of amazement, "As expected from a sword intent that can kill celestials. Even after being weakened by so much, it still has such terrifying power. That person is quite extraordinary to be able to fuse with such a terrifying sword intent. Father, right now, the human Phoenix Empire is doing everything it can to find that person, and he most likely has some other secrets. I want to use the sword sect's power to find that person," Jian Yue said. Hearing Jian Tianya's words, Jian Yue wanted to comprehend that sword intent even more, so she asked Jian Yue. Jian Tianyi nodded and said, "This person might not be ordinary, so you have to deal with him carefully. I think that he's quite suitable to be your husband, so you can consider him and tie him to the sword sect." Jian Tianyi nodded and agreed. Jian Yue coldly refused, saying, "Father, I only want to cultivate the sword and have no other thoughts. Right now, I only want to cultivate the sword and have no other thoughts." Seeing this, Jian Tianyi did not insist. Following this, the sword sect also started to search for Zhao Fu's whereabouts, causing quite a commotion. Now, there were two large factions in the human domain searching for that man. Just who was that man? How could he make two large factions act like this? A third large faction quickly joined in. It was naturally young Master Ziyun's faction, and it was called the Violet Cloud Immortal Pavilion. At first, it was said that young Master Ziyun wanted to use his faction's power to find a man that he had taken a fancy to. However, young Master Ziyun used the excuse that the other two factions were searching for that person, and that person had been specially recruited by Emperor Path College to praise Zhao Fu, allowing him to use his faction's power to search for Zhao Fu's whereabouts. The higher being from Emperor Path College told everyone about the evil spirit Abyss Flower, causing Emperor Path College to take it seriously. They felt that Zhao Fu was quite extraordinary and also try to find Zhao Fu's whereabouts. The most terrifying dean of Emperor Path College sent out an order for no one to interfere. This caused all of the higher beings to feel quite shocked because they had not seen the dean in a long time and had not heard anything from him. However, he had actually given such an order. It could be seen just how important this matter was to him. However, after thinking about it, the higher beings realized that the restrictions had been set down by the dean, so the dean naturally knew about the evil spirit Abyss Flower. It was most likely that he was planning something. Thinking about that, the higher beings felt quite shocked and did not want to interfere. Only one higher being knew about this matter and slightly frowned. News of the three factions searching for Zhao Fu and what had happened at Emperor Path College quickly reached the ears of other large factions. They were all quite shocked that such a terrifying figure had appeared, and they felt quite curious about Zhao Fu's identity. This was the first time that Zhao Fu had appeared in front of the Heaven Domain's large factions. It was not like before, when they only knew that he existed but did not know what he looked like or whether he was a man or a woman. Chapter 13:22. Zhao Fu's body returned to Qin, and he looked quite confused. Before he could understand what had happened, it was as if his body had been forcefully summoned back, causing the projection to fail and Zhao Fu's body to return. What's going on? Zhao Fu could not understand, because once a projection was 100% complete, it would be incredibly difficult to withdraw from it. Normally, Zhao Fu would have to return to the location where the projection had started, which was that barren land. Only then would he be able to withdraw it. Now, there was some sort of power that had forcefully stopped the projection. After examining it, Zhao Fu found that there was some sort of power seeping into the projection pearl in front of his chest, which was quite powerful. What made Zhao Fu feel quite delighted was that the agriculture goddess divinity that he had obtained from Lin Dapeng had been brought back. After all, a projection could not bring anything back. Zhao Fu thought about the power that had helped him many times in Emperor Path College, as well as the projection pearl's power. Zhao Fu thought of something and headed to the Heaven Spirit Steel. As expected, he received many messages from higher beings. Just as Zhao Fu had expected, the higher being who had been talking to Zhao Fu was most likely a teacher from Emperor Path College. Moreover, it was this higher being who had helped Zhao Fu forcefully stop the projection, allowing Zhao Fu to escape. After all, the remnant aura from the projection pearl was the same as the power that had helped Zhao Fu before. Boy, you've made this sovereign look at you in a different light. You caused so much trouble right after coming to Emperor Path College. This sovereign now regrets introducing you to Emperor Path College. Looking at the higher being's message, Zhao Fu felt quite awkward. He had indeed caused a lot of trouble at Emperor Path College, but that had all gone against Zhao Fu's original intentions. Who would have thought that Emperor Path College would be so dangerous, and anyone he met could easily crush him? At the same time, there was no one else who could make an expert who stood at the peak of the heaven-awakened world say such things. Zhao Fu naturally knew that he had caused trouble for this higher being, so he said apologetically, "I'm sorry. Sorry for troubling you." The higher being had been waiting for Zhao Fu's reply, and seeing him apologize, the anger in his heart dissipated a bit. He said, "Now you know how terrifying a top-tier genius of the heaven domain is, right? You still have a year, so you need to quickly increase your strength and enter Emperor Path College with the highest ranking." Seeing this, Zhao Fu asked, What's going on? Senior, do you want me to continue joining Emperor Path College?" In actuality, Zhao Fu did not want to go to Emperor Path College because he had caused so much trouble there. Zhao Fu did not dare to go there, as he might be caught by Feng Qianghua again. In fact, it was even possible that he would be caught by Prince Xian. When that time came, Zhao Fu would not have a chance to escape at all, and if he could not escape, one of Zhao Fu's places would be in danger. As such, Zhao Fu did not want to go to Emperor Path College again. That was because with his current strength, he really couldn't go there unless he obtained even more power. Looking at Zhao Fu's words, the higher being could guess what Zhao Fu was thinking and said, If you come to Emperor Path College, this sovereign will be able to take care of you. You've already entered the eyes of many top-tier factions, and if you don't have a faction protecting you, if they do anything to you, you won't be able to resist. For example, there are many curses in the world that are similar to the Emperor Killer Curse. You haven't even gotten rid of the Emperor Killer Curse, and if a few more of them are added to your body, do you think you have a chance of surviving? These words caused Zhao Fu's heart to feel a chill. The shadow of the Emperor Killer Curse had always been hanging over Zhao Fu, and it had even caused Zhao Fu to give up and wait for death. He had used various methods to get rid of less than half of the Emperor Killer Curse's deathly power. If it was a few more, Zhao Fu really would not have any hope of surviving. Zhao Fu indeed needed a massive faction to support him. This massive faction naturally couldn't be Qin. With Qin's current strength, it would be difficult for him to even protect himself, let alone Zhao Fu. As such, Zhao Fu could only rely on another faction. Even though there were 7 great colleges in this world, and apart from Emperor Path College, There were 6 other colleges of the same level. They were simply too far away. Moreover, he would enter as a human, and no one would be able to protect him, making it 10 or so times more dangerous than Emperor Path College. Now, he only had one choice, Emperor Path College. Moreover, the higher being from before had said that he could directly enter Emperor Path College without taking the test, if Zhao Fu agreed. Wouldn't Zhao Fu already be a student of Emperor Path College? Thinking about that, Zhao Fu grinned. He would not have to wait for a year, and one of his biggest worries would be resolved. However, the higher being immediately poured a bucket of cold water on him, causing Zhao Fu to feel a chill in his heart. Emperor Path College's dean is paying attention to you, and he said not to interfere in anything. All of the promises that teacher made to you are now void. Emperor Path College's dean was a half-step celestial expert, and hearing that he was paying attention to him, Zhao Fu felt as if he had fallen into icy water. Goosebumps rose up all over his body, and he felt as if there were countless eyes staring at him. Facing such an existence, Zhao Fu did not dare to even think about resisting at all. Even Emperor Heaven Realm experts would not dare to do so. That sort of existence already had heaven-defying power. How had he drawn the attention of such an existence? Zhao Fu felt incredibly shocked and had never thought that such a thing would happen. He thought that it might be because of the evil spirit abyss flower. Senior, what does the dean think of me? Zhao Fu asked that higher being carefully. The higher being could immediately tell what Zhao Fu was thinking and lightly laughed as he said, "Don't worry, it's an opportunity. Also, if the dean wants to do something to you, do you think you'll be able to resist at all?" Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt at ease. If that sort of existence really wanted to do something to him, he would not be able to resist at all. In the future, you'll need to go to the demon domain. When that time comes, you'll see the evil spirit abyss flower's true effects. Zhao Fu looked at the higher being's reminder and thought back to what the 4 guardian beasts and the 10,000 Dragon Financial Group's president had said, asking him to go to the devil domain. Zhao Fu remembered this reminder and once again thanked the higher being. Following this, Zhao Fu and the higher being chatted for a while longer before concluding their conversation. Following this, Zhao Fu ordered people to build a temple for the agriculture goddess and used the divinity to summon a simple and beautiful middle-aged woman. Right now, she was just an image and her mind was not clear and her expression was wooden. Zhao Fu ordered people to carve a statue of her and fuse the divinity into it. As long as she absorbed a large amount of faith energy, the agriculture goddess would recover her mind and power. Chapter 1323. A few days later, Zhao Fu received news that the Devil Horn Empire was preparing to gather its army and plan to attack the continent that Qin had conquered in the grassy world. If they could conquer that continent, the Devil Horn Empire would have 3 worlds. They had coveted that continent for a long time and had not even completely digested the Lantong world yet, and they wanted to make a move on Qin's continent. Now, Qin had 2 choices. The first was to defend and not allow the Devil Horn Empire to conquer the grassy continent no matter what, making it impossible for them to obtain the grassy world. The second was to withdraw and give the grassy continent to the Devil Horn Empire, allowing it to continue to develop. When it grew to a certain extent, Qin would ally with the other worlds to attack the Devil Horn Empire. In the end, Zhao Fu chose the first option because the second option was too dangerous and the situation could easily spiral out of control. This was especially so because the Devil Horn Empire had many supporters, and if they acted at a critical moment, they could change the situation. Moreover, Zhao Fu did not trust the other worlds. The second day after receiving this information, the Devil Horn Empire mobilized 10 billion soldiers and gave off a massive aura, seeming like a world-destroying flood as they swept towards Qin. Qin also mobilized 10 billion soldiers to defend, giving off a majestic aura that seemed to be indestructible as they blocked all invading enemies. Both sides were old enemies, and they did not say anything as the battle quickly unfolded. Roar! 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 Qin's countless beasts and the Devil Horn Empire's devil beasts fought intensely in the sky and on the ground. The auras they gave off were incredibly majestic, shaking the surroundings and causing the heavens and earth to seem incredibly austere and chaotic. Massive flying beasts fought intensely in the sky, using all of their teeth and claws as they tore and slashed, causing feathers and blood to fall everywhere. The beasts on the ground ferociously collided with each other, causing muffled sounds to ring out. They used their teeth and claws to ferociously attack each other, causing blood to fly everywhere. Howls and roars continuously sounded out, creating an incredibly bitter scene. The Devil Horn soldiers gave off massive auras and roared as they charged over. Their powers seemed to be able to destroy everything and cause the heavens and earth to dim. On Qin's side, arrows continuously shot out, falling like rain and killing Devil Horn soldiers. However, because Qin City had gone through a few large battles, they lacked talisman arrows. The Devil Horn army used the core barrier to block most of Qin City's attacks, and they quickly charged to Qin City's walls and started to attack. Qin continuously shot down arrows, while the Devil Horn soldiers continuously shot up. The Devil Horn soldiers used all sorts of methods to scale the walls, while Qin continuously used heavy objects and sharp lights to attack. The sounds of battle were like thunder, shaking all directions. Soldiers from both sides were dying, and a thick smell of blood spread out, as if it could dye the heavens blood red. This time, the Devil Horn Empire had come prepared. Apart from the ferocious devil beasts, they had also summoned massive blue eyes. The blue eyes were 100 meters wide and floated in the air, giving off sapphire-like light. Their gazes were cold and did not contain any emotions, causing people's hairs to stand on end, and they gave off an intense might. The blue eyes were summoned using the Lontong people's forbidden technique, and they were called the Blue Star Forbidden Pupil. Each blue eye required the eyes of 10,000 Lontong people to be summoned. Moreover, they had to be the eyes of living people, as dead people's eyes could not be summoned. Even though there were only 1,000 massive eyes on the battlefield, Yao Ming had dug out the eyes of 10 million Lontong people to summon these terrifying things. The people who had used this forbidden technique thought back to the Lontong people being tied to pillars and looking at them in fear. They used their fingers to pry open the Lontong people's eyes and used spoons to stab into their eye sockets, causing blood to spurt out. The Lontong people howled and continuously struggled as they pressed down on their heads and slowly dug out their eyeballs. It was as if they were digging out jelly, and using spoons was the best method. This way, the eyeballs would be completely intact, and there would only be a bit of flesh and blood at the back of the eye. Following this, they dug out the other eyeball, and pained cries sounded out, making the scene seem like purgatory. Those people who had their eyes gouged out were essentially crippled. Without their eyes, they could not do anything, and raising them was a waste of food. As such, Yao Ming had thrown them into the devil beast territory to be used as food for the devil beasts. Just like that, not only did the 10 million Lontong people have their eyes dug out, but they were also turned into food for the devil beasts. It was quite pitiful. In actuality, if it wasn't for the fact that the Lontong people were going to fight to the death against the Devil Horn Empire, Yao Ming would have summoned 10,000 blue eyeballs and dug out the eyes of the 100 million Lontong people. However, he understood that he could not do this, or else the Lontong people who had surrendered would definitely rebel. After all, digging out the eyes of 10 million people had already caused the Lontong people to feel incredibly furious. They had surrendered to the Devil Horn Empire and had never thought that the Devil Horn Empire would treat them like this. In this battle, they were going to dig out the eyes of 10 million people, and they were going to be used as food for the devil beasts. If there were even more battles in the future, it would be their turn to suffer the same fate. They would definitely rebel against the Devil Horn Empire, and that would not be worth it. As such, Yao Ming held back. However, Sacrificing 10 million people to summon the blue star forbidden pupil was incredibly powerful. Boom, boom, boom. As Yao Ming gave the order, the blue eye looked towards Qin and gave off an intense blue light. Rays of terrifying blue light containing destructive power shot out, causing the air to explode. They were incredibly fast and flashed past. Bang, bang, bang. Massive explosions sounded out as rocks flew everywhere and dust billowed. Over 1,000 large holes appeared in Qin's defensive walls, and in some places, the walls collapsed. In some places, soldiers were covered by the blue light, and before they could even cry out, they were turned to dust. Immediately, the 1,000 blue rays of light caused great losses to Qin's defensive walls and broke through Qin's defenses. The defensive walls had powerful restrictions, but they were still destroyed by the blue rays of light. It could be seen how terrifying these blue rays of light were. Kill. Seeing that Qin's defenses had been destroyed, the Devil Horn Empire's morale soared, and they roared as they flooded towards the holes in the defensive walls. Zhao Fu's expression fell, and he immediately had his Stage 2 soldiers block the holes. He also ordered 1,000 or so dragon-slaying ballistae to aim at the 1,000 blue eyes floating in the air. Bang! 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 Chapter 1324. Bang! Bang! The 1,000 or so rays of light gave off ferocious and sharp auras as they shot towards the 1,000 blue eyeballs. However, just as they were about to hit, they were blocked by a formless restriction. The 1,000 or so rays of light continuously shot out, trying to pierce through the restriction, but the restriction stubbornly resisted. In the end, the restriction's power was greatly reduced, but the 1,000 or so rays of light disappeared and turned into arrows that fell from the sky. These eyes moved incredibly slowly, and if they were attacked, they would not be able to dodge quickly. As such, Yao Ming had paid a great price to set up restrictions to protect them. The 1,000 eyes once again gave off intense blue light, and a massive aura of danger spread out as the 1,000 eyeballs once again shot out terrifying rays of light. Zhao Fu's expression fell, and he turned into a ray of light and rushed out, wanting to stop the blue eyeballs. Yao Ming coldly laughed and also turned into a ray of light as he rushed out. He understood that if he relied on his cultivation, he definitely would not be a match for Zhao Fu. So he directly exploded out with his nation armament's power. Facing a nation armament, Zhao Fu could only use his nation armament's power. Boom, boom, boom. The two of them started to fight, causing cold light to shoot out everywhere as explosions continuously sounded out. Terrifying shockwaves spread out, causing wild gales to blow out. Countless Devil Horn soldiers surged forwards from the 1,000 holes that had been blasted open. Qin's Stage 2 soldiers blocked the holes and unleashed their Stage 2 soldiers' power. Countless sword lights and saber lights shot out, killing the Devil Horn soldiers charging at them. However, the Devil Horn soldiers were not afraid, and they instead ferociously charged in. This was the breakthrough point, and once they broke through, they would win. Boom! 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 Explosions sounded out as the air trembled. The blue eyeballs continued to shoot out blue rays of light that gave off destructive power. The intense blue light dyed the sky blue. Bang! 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 Massive sounds rang out as the air seemed to explode. Rays of light giving off incredibly sharp auras shot out, seeming to be able to cut through steel. Under that sharp aura, countless people's hair stood on end. Bang! 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 The two of them collided in the sky, producing massive explosions. Blinding light and shockwaves spread out. In the end, the blue beam of light was stronger. The countless arrows turned into countless light spots and dissipated. The blue beam of light continued to shoot towards the city wall of Qin. However, because its power was not greatly reduced, it only left a few marks on the city wall. At this time, the blue eyeball needed to pause for a while before it could continue its attack. However, Qin's arrows didn't have this shortcoming. They could be shot directly after drawing the bow. Rays of light containing terrifying power shot towards the blue eyeball, but they were blocked by the formless restriction, and the restriction's power was greatly weakened. The massive Devil Horn Empire soldiers were about to flood in, and Great Sheen continuously sent Stage 2 soldiers here, as well as countless devils. They had to defend against the incoming Devil Horn soldiers. The battle was extremely bitter. Blood splattered everywhere, and screams rang out incessantly. More and more people died. Seeing this scene, Yao Ming gave a delighted smile because the situation was quite favorable to him. If this went on, the Devil Horn Empire would be able to conquer the grassy continent, and when that time came, the Devil Horn Empire would have 3 worlds. However, facing Zhao Fu, Yao Ming still felt great pressure. He could only tie down Zhao Fu, and he felt that Zhao Fu's power had greatly increased. Yao Ming felt quite startled and did not know why Zhao Fu's power had increased so quickly. He had to quickly kill Zhao Fu, or else if this went on, Zhao Fu would become far more powerful than he was sooner or later. Boom! Yao Ming used Zhao Fu's nation armament's power to send out a massive violet saber light toward Zhao Fu. Zhao Fu also slashed out a terrifying sword light, and their attacks clashed, resulting in another explosion. Bang! 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 Another massive explosion sounded out as 1,000 or so rays of light shot out, giving off terrifying power as they shot towards the blue eyeball, once again weakening the restriction's power. However, the blue eyeball gave off an even more intense light, and an even more dangerous aura spread out. The blue eyeball was going to give off an even more terrifying light, and its destructive power would be many times greater than before. Swish, 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 Qin hurriedly shot out more talisman arrows, once again weakening the restriction, but he was still unable to break through it. The Devil Horn Empire's general gave a trace of a cold smile and prepared to have the blue eyeball shoot out a terrifying ray of light to deal a heavy blow to Qin. Suddenly, more than 1,000 monsters came out of the void. The monsters looked like rats, but they had bat heads. Their teeth and claws had a metallic luster to them, and they were probably very sharp. They looked quite scary. These were the cosmos beasts that Qin had nurtured and had fused with City Lord seals. They were 100 meters long, and after appearing from the void, their sharp claws gave off 5 cold lights as they attacked the restriction protecting the blue eyeball. The restriction had been used up a few times, and its power had greatly decreased. The 1,000 or so cosmos beasts ferociously attacked, and it looked like the restriction was about to be destroyed. The Devil Horn Empire's general's expression fell, and he hurriedly ordered the archers to shoot. Arrows flew out, but the cosmos beasts once again hid in the void, dodging the attacks. They then came out from another side and started to attack the restriction. In the end, the restriction was destroyed by the cosmos beasts, who rushed out and bit at the blue eyeball, easily destroying it. The blue eyeball turned into motes of light and dissipated, and the cosmos beasts once again hid in the void. They came out from various directions and suddenly attacked the Devil Horn army, causing much chaos. On the other side, next to the opening that the Devil Horn Empire had blasted open, groups of fallen angels with black wings appeared in the sky, giving off massive auras. There were roughly 2 million or so of them. They raised the darkness, swords in their hands, and black rays of light containing terrifying power blasted down from the sky. Bang! 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 Explosions sounded out as the black rays of light exploded. A single black ray of light killed or heavily injured 10 or so Devil Horn soldiers, causing countless casualties in the Devil Horn Empire. The 2 million or so fallen angels all had stage 3 strength, so their attacks were naturally terrifying. Following this, even more stage 2 soldiers from Qin's army flooded into the opening and started to kill Devil Horn soldiers in an orderly manner, stopping them from entering. Only now did Qin reveal his abilities. He had obtained the cosmos beasts and fallen angels from the cosmos historical remnant, and he had not used them even once. Yao Ming did not know about them, so he naturally had no way to deal with them. Chapter 1325. The Devilhorn Empire was unable to break through Qin's defenses at all, so they could only retreat. Otherwise, even more people would die, and it would be meaningless. The Devilhorn Empire announced Qin's victory as they retreated. Countless soldiers started to cheer, and Zhao Fu smiled as he gave the order to clean up the battlefield. Both sides had suffered great losses in this battle, and Qin had not gained much of an advantage. What was more important was that they had not gained anything at all. They had only been able to defend against the Devilhorn Empire's attack, while the Devilhorn Empire had suffered great losses and had not gained anything. The people who benefited the most from the battle between the Qin Empire and the Devilhorn Empire were naturally the allied worlds. They had not seen Qin and the Devilhorn Empire fight to the death, causing them to feel quite disappointed. They had been waiting for both sides to suffer heavy losses so that they could destroy the two greatest threats in one fell swoop. That way, they would not have to worry anymore. The allied worlds had also formed an allied army in order to prevent Qin and the Devilhorn Empire from doing anything. However, because they came from different worlds and factions, they were much weaker than the Devilhorn Empire and Great Qin in terms of battle strength and unity. They had been watching from the sidelines during the battle between Qin and the Devilhorn Empire, which was why Zhao Fu had not chased after the Devilhorn Empire. After this battle, the Devilhorn Empire most likely would not easily attack Qin Empire again. After all, the Devilhorn Empire had suffered great losses and had not been able to defeat Qin. However, Qin had revealed many of his trump cards, so the Devilhorn Empire would be prepared. Next time, this method would most likely be ineffective, and Great Qin would have to prepare other methods to defend against the Devilhorn Empire's invasion. This would be quite troublesome, as powerful methods were not easy to prepare. After returning to Qin Empire, Zhao Fu gave all sorts of rewards to those who had contributed greatly this time, and he especially praised the Fallen Angel Corps. In the battle just then, they had released even more powerful attacks and killed countless Devilhorn soldiers, making them quite eye-catching. Erisina lightly harumphed and said, "Of course, that is this god's fallen angel. When you capture a celestial world and use the celestials to transform into a fallen angel, the power will be even stronger." Zhao Fu glanced at Erisina with a smile. Her attitude now was not as cold, disgusted, and resentful as before. After all, affection grows with time. Erisina, Nasi, and the 24 Darkness God emissaries were all doted on by Zhao Fu, and their relationship gradually became better. As a fallen angel godly spirit, Erisina's alluring aura became stronger and stronger. Boom! Suddenly, another shocking explosion sounded out, causing the heavens and earth to dim. Clouds swirled as a terrifying aura covered the heaven-awakened world. The 8 crystals in the endless void trembled slightly again, causing the powerhouses to be startled awake by the ripples. They all revealed serious and worried expressions. Zhao Fu's face also stiffened. He walked out of the palace and looked at the changing sky. This time, the fluctuations could be considered familiar because it had already happened twice. Notification: the city's stats have been weakened by 10%. Notification: the region's power has been slightly weakened. As expected, more system announcements appeared in Zhao Fu's mind. The first time, City Lord Seals could not be used, and the second time, the production attribute had disappeared. Now, the city's stats have been weakened by 10%. This was for all cities. No matter if it was an ordinary city or a royal city, having their stats reduced by 10% would have a big impact on the various factions. After all, cities had all sorts of stats, such as the production attribute that had disappeared, the stats for soldiers and residents, the stats for spawning people, the stats for talent, and the power of the city itself. Apart from these, there were also some other special stats that had been reduced by 10%. There was also the region's power. Each region had its own power, and it could be used to manage the region or obtain the region's power, directly increasing its power. However, now that Great Qin had established a kingdom and unified a world, the weakening of the power of regions did not have much of an impact. However, for some smaller factions, especially those that occupied regions, they would be greatly affected. AI. Zhao Fu could not help but sigh. Anyone could tell that the City Lord Seal's power had disappeared, and the production attribute had disappeared. Now that city's stats and region's power had been weakened, what would disappear in the future? If this went on, all of the Heaven Awakened world's powers would be weakened, and it was even possible that it would be destroyed. This sudden thought gave Zhao Fu a big fright. If the Heaven Awakened world was destroyed, all of them who lived within it would be destroyed as well. Even though this thought was quite shocking, if things continued to weaken like this, it was quite possible that something terrifying would happen. Zhao Fu could not help but think about that higher being's warning to him that he had to quickly level up to a royal kingdom. Only then would he have the power to protect himself. That higher being definitely knew the truth, or else he would not have said such a thing. Becoming a royal kingdom was quite a bit of pressure for Zhao Fu. Right now, he only had 3 worlds, and he was 7 worlds away from leveling up to a royal kingdom. Right now, he just hoped that nothing bad would happen in the Heaven Awakened world, or else small factions like Zhao Fu's would be the first to suffer. After the abnormal signs, everything returned to normal, and Zhao Fu anxiously gathered his subordinates to discuss the future of Qin City. Everyone was quite worried about this, so they prepared a detailed plan. Even if something happened in the future, they would at least be prepared and would not be a loss waiting to be destroyed. The meeting lasted for a few more days, and Zhao Fu planned to return to his palace to rest. However, he had never thought that he would run into the Flower Fairy. Zhao Fu still did not know what sort of existence the Flower Fairy was. She was a product of the active period and had powerful flower energy. She had appeared when using the level 7 blessing, and she had been caught by the world-cleansing butterfly when using the level 7 blessing, which was why she had remained in Qin City. The Flower Fairy was most likely waiting for him here because she had saved his life before, so Zhao Fu felt quite grateful towards her. He looked at her and lightly smiled as he asked, "What is it?" The Flower Fairy stood by the side and bowed, her face slightly red as she smiled and said, "Your Majesty, I can sense that your body has very powerful flower energy. I can sense that your body has very powerful flower power. So I want to borrow your power to create a flower world. It will give birth to 10 or so flower spirits every day, and it should be some help to you." Hearing this, Zhao Fu felt quite delighted. Qin City had 3 flower spirits, Charming, 100, and Peachy. Not only could they control plants to attack, but they could also delay the withering of flowers by 6 times and had high-grade healing magic. Chapter 13:26. Zhao Fu smiled and nodded. "All right. What should I do then? How should we cooperate with you?" The Flower Fairy's face was slightly red as she brought Zhao Fu to the flower domain. This was a place to nurture flower devils and also a place to grow world flowers. There were all sorts of flowers blooming everywhere, causing the ground to be covered in colorful clothes. Moreover, because of their various attributes, the flowers here almost never wilted and bloomed all year round, and they gave off a dense fragrance. This was undoubtedly the best place to set up the flower world. Moreover, the world flowers had already grown to 5,000 meters tall, but they had not bloomed yet. The flower buds were still jade green, and it would most likely take a while before they bloomed. The Flower Fairy's face was red as she started to set up a magic formation that gave off colorful light. Just as the magic formation was set up, all of the flowers in the surroundings gave off traces of different auras, which flooded into the magic formation like rainbow-colored floodwaters. A powerful aura spread out from the magic formation. The magic formation gave off intense light, dyeing the sky all sorts of colors. The entire sky of the flower domain was like this, and it looked quite beautiful. The 2 of them stood at the center of the magic formation, and the Flower Fairy's face was red as she said nervously, "Your Majesty, we need to fuse. Right now, we need to combine. My flower power will enter your body, and your powerful flower power will also enter my body. This way, a flower nurturing power will be born. At the same time, the 2 massive flowers' energies will fuse together, which will be very beneficial to us. You'll be able to obtain the source flower energy, and I'll be able to use your flower energy to recover my memories and power. Fuse. Looking at the blushing flower fairy, Zhao Fu naturally thought about that, and he looked at the flower fairy's exquisite face and seductive figure with interest. Sensing Zhao Fu's gaze, the flower fairy lowered her head with a red face, not daring to meet Zhao Fu's gaze. Zhao Fu naturally understood and smiled as he went up and hugged the flower fairy and took off her clothes. At first, the flower fairy did not object and shyly cooperated with Zhao Fu. However, at critical moments, she resisted. However, the two of them still started to do it amongst the flowers. As the two of them made love, the huge power of the flowers gathered by the array was injected into their bodies. The flower fairy's body gave off an intense light, and the images of all sorts of flowers appeared around her body. There were gardenias, peach blossoms, cherry blossoms, lilies, and so on. It was impossible to count, and it seemed to contain all of the flowers in the world. There seemed to be a sea of flowers in the surroundings, and within this sea, there were 8 blurry, ethereal, and illusory flowers scattered in 8 directions. Based on the auras that the 8 flowers gave off, Zhao Fu determined that one was the World Flowers aura and one was the Evil Spirit Abyss Flowers aura. Both of them were part of the world's 7 wondrous flowers, and Zhao Fu was quite surprised. If the indistinct flower in the sea of flowers corresponded to the world's 7 wondrous flowers, but there was an 8th flower in the sea of flowers, could it be that there was another wondrous flower in the world that no one knew about? Before he could understand, Zhao Fu's body started to heat up, and the Evil Spirit Abyss flower in his throat gave off a black-purple light before seeming to come to life. Countless seductive women with beautiful faces and seductive auras appeared in the surroundings as they twisted and danced about. Zhao Fu's eyes became blood-red, and the pupils in his eye sockets disappeared as 2 jet-black Evil Spirit Abyss flowers appeared, giving off a heart-chilling evil aura as if they had the power to bewitch all creatures. Zhao Fu's appearance also went through some changes. His face became much more beautiful and gave off a dense evil aura, as well as a trace of feminine aura. Boom! Suddenly, Zhao Fu's body trembled as the 6 Desires demonic crystal within his body exploded out with a massive amount of 6 Desires demonic chi and 6 rays of black light, giving off sharp auras shot into the sky. 6 demon gods appeared in the sky. They were the 6 Desires demon gods. Zhao Fu's 6 Desires celestial art had unexpectedly broken through, and demonic chi flooded into the 6 Desires demon gods' bodies. Demonic clouds covered the sky, and a massive might spread out. Now that his cultivation technique had broken through, Zhao Fu had obtained the ability to summon the 6 Desires demon gods. However, things did not end so simply. The 6 Desires demon gods in the sky raised their hands, and a massive wave of power blasted down and entered Zhao Fu's body. Zhao Fu's body seemed to be filled with the 6 Desires power, and his eyes once again went through changes. At the center of the 2 Evil Spirit Abyss flowers, there were 6 small black runes, and there was a swirling demonic chi around the flowers, giving off a suction force. It was as if anyone who looked at him would be sucked into the darkness. The 6 Desires power and Evil Spirit Abyss flowers power had actually fused together, and Zhao Fu felt quite shocked. He had never thought that the 2 powers would fuse together. Boom! 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 The 6 Desires celestial sex 6 statues once again sensed the 6 Desires demonic chi's shocking changes and gave off intense ripples. The light they gave off pierced through many worlds, causing countless people to feel incredibly shocked. A heaven-toppling aura spread out in all directions. The 6 Desires celestial statues seemed to come to life, and their eyes gave off dense, killing intent. This caused the 6 Desires celestial sex people to feel incredibly shocked. They had never seen the 6 Desires celestial statues react so intensely before. The higher beings all looked incredibly shocked, and one of them sighed, "That person's 6 Desires demonic art has improved, and it seems that he has harmed countless women. We should kill him as soon as possible before things go out of control. Another higher being nodded in agreement, saying, "This sovereign also feels that we should kill him as soon as possible." The six desires, celestial statue's reactions, are dozens of times more intense than before, and they only react like this after sensing that person's immense threat. That person most likely obtained some sort of heaven-defying opportunity in recent years. The other higher beings all agreed with this and decided to temporarily leave the sect to search for the legatee of the six desires demonic art and put an end to this matter. This caused many people to feel incredibly shocked. It was incredibly rare for six higher beings to personally hunt down a single person. However, they knew about the enmity between the six desires celestial sect and the six desires demonic art, so they could understand the six desires celestial sect's actions. Countless righteous sects expressed their support, saying that such a scourge should be killed as soon as possible, while countless evil cultivators supported the legatee of the six desires demonic art. Zhao Fu did not know about these things, and the legatee of the six desires demonic art already had dozens of peerless beauties by his side. He had been taking these beauties around to continue his path of subduing beauties, as the six desires demonic art required a large number of top-grade beauties. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.